Hello, hello. Let's get my computer turned on mute so I'm not annoying to everybody. Okay, don't you hate it when you're like running around and okay, you've spilt something before and you've done it in the exact same way as before, and every time you do it, you're like, oh, like annoyed with yourself because, like in this case, my chair keeps bumping against this table that's next to me, where I, film and stuff, and I keep bumping into it. And on multiple occasions, I've bumped into it and knocked liquid over and made complete messes, which is, of course, what I did just now about 30 seconds before I got on. So that was not making me happy. And now, the floor is stained, but we're going to have to live with it. Live with it. So, hello, hello. I guess we are on a Monday this time. I think the last time I did a live, I might have been on a Tuesday. So, trying out a new night. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I did. Was mostly working on actually jewelry stuff, getting organized with all my stuff. Sorry, just getting my jewelry on. I was trying to put some lotion on because no one wants to look at my gross hands. So there you go. I'm here and ready to go. So I hope you guys are ready for brooches. I've got a whole mishmash. As usual, I have a handful of stuff I didn't actually get listed, but I can just do those along the way or see if anyone is even interested in those things. They may not be. Mostly it's a whole bunch of sterling silver brooches that are lovely. Some Mexico, as well as some beautiful filigree. And so I can still offer them tonight, but I just didn't get them listed. But most everything else I did. It's a lot of buyer's choice this evening, which personally I think is a little bit fun. So, okay, so these are the names I see: Sparkle Hunters and Lily's or Lily Slots, and welcome in Unique Around the Corner. Hello, and hello, Lori. How are you? I don't know if you got your book yet, but hopefully that will come soon. Lori was asking me about an awesome book that I use often that's about costume jewelry that's got amazing pictures. So welcome in Gypsy Warrior. I go to your store quite often. I love the stuff that you bring to your shows. Gorgeous, gorgeous sterling silver jewelry quite often. Vintage Vault and hello, and Granny's Vintage, which is Mel, Karen M. Love me some vintage. And Channel Collections, Modest Irish Goddess, Second Chance Vintage, and then Cans Treasures. And then a few people watching from YouTube. So hello to those people at YouTube. You can't actually see the chat that goes on here during the live because we are actually streaming from district.net. So if you actually wanted to be able to participate in the live and be able to bid and that sort of thing, you'd want to come over to district.net and register and, enter all your info, and then you will be able to do that. You're welcome to watch from YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, if most of you probably already know. It's called Cherished Relics Boutique. Hey there, Samantha. How are you? Thanks for popping in. So yeah, my YouTube channel is called Cherished Relics Boutique. A couple of my YouTube friends are helping me try to get to 1,000. I'm slowly approaching it. I think I might be like 911 or 912 right now. So if you love unboxings and jewelry, unjarrings and jewelry hauls and some educational jewelry stuff from somebody who learned from all the great people here on YouTube, then go check out my channel. Hundreds and hundreds of videos to check out. Hey there, how are you, Lori? I was wondering if you got your, costume jewelry book yet. Oh, thank you. You're so nice. I know you've been watching a whole bunch lately. Yes, talk it up in the chat so I can get some other followers. I'm trying to get to 1,000, but I think Lori in the last, I don't know, week or so has been doing a whole bunch of my channel. Hey, Lori, were you a follower of my channel like months ago? I think you bought from me months ago before I took a hiatus. Oh, no, book comes Thursday. Or did you just recently follow my channel? Hey, how Samantha? I will have a great sale. I love it when you come in and greet everybody. Yes, this is the founder, Samantha, of Vintage Jewelry Addicts, and Yeah, so say hello to Samantha. Some people call her Sammy, I think, or Samantha. But I've felt really welcomed here in this marketplace. Our Sammy, there you go. Mm. And I think it's lovely that you come into people's shows and pop in and show your support. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, so I also sell on YouTube. I'm sorry, I do sell on YouTube. I sell on my YouTube videos if you're interested in that, but I also sell on eBay under the same name, Cherish Relics Boutique. And here on District, also called Cherish Relics Boutique, if you don't follow me and you're watching on your phone, I think there's a place you can literally, up at the top of the phone, somewhere I think you could actually follow me. If you follow me, I'll follow you back, and then you'll know kind of when I'm on and that sort of thing. Down here on the bottom, you can see a little storefront. Mostly tonight is a lot of buyer's choices because there's just so honest. Do you want to honestly know why I did buyer's choice? I want to spend less time dealing with the auctions and more time playing with the jewelry. So when I do buyer's choices, then I can spend most of my time just showing you all the awesome beauties and then lay them out. And if anyone's interested, great. Welcome in, Shelly Dam, I think is the name, or Shelly Deanne. Sorry, my vision is terrible. I put the two ends together. Hilarious. Okay. And anyways, so and I know Gypsy Warrior is here as well. I think you're tagging her. Circa 2020, I believe that's Angie. Welcome in again. And yeah, I wish I knew what Gypsy Warrior's first name was. I know you just came back to the live. I would love to know your first name. I go in and I watch your videos, and they're so lovely. Oh, perfect, Debbie. That's awesome. I'm just going to jot it down on my list. I loved your last video where you were, I think you were doing it out of a hotel room. Been there, done that. We would go out on our little adventures to try to, find our, you know, what we're selling. So Debbie, here we go. We're going in, getting our inventory. And she was talking about how, things look a little different, as well as the fact that her lighting or some sort of stand was different, and it takes an adjustment. So anyways, so I have to tell you a funny thing about my little porcelain ladies back here before I start. Some of you probably know that I did have an antique booth for several years before I got into jewelry. Actually, antique booth is what got me into loving jewelry. After my mother passed several years ago, you know how you go through all their stuff. They've died and you've got a whole house full of things and you're trying to figure out if, you mostly know the things you need to keep, but sometimes you got to figure out if things are valuable or whatever. I've always been into antiques and loved going to antique stores, but never really felt the interest in opening a booth until after my mother had died. And so, because I had a lot of her stuff, and I loved it. I had a really successful antique booth at two places for quite a while. And then I ended up in my antique booth getting more and more into jewelry and, learning from a lot of people here on YouTube, a lot of great sellers and great YouTubers that have a lot of great information to share with people in this community. So nice. It's such a kind community, I have to tell you. And I started to learn more and more, and then I just decided to close my booths and open up, just focus on jewelry. And I also loved that it took up less space. But anyways, that being said, my mother, before she died, she was very into, I shouldn't say she was a dancer. What she was a very artistic, she was a social worker by trade, but she played instruments, she art and drawing. She'd made her own jewelry. There actually is a live video. If you scroll in my live videos on my YouTube page and you scroll all the way back, almost to the beginning, I do basically, it's not even selling jewelry that day, but it was a district video where I was talking about the story of my mother and how I fell in love with jewelry. And you got to go watch it if you haven't seen it. But I years, after she had passed away, found all this incredible jewelry that she had made. And I knew she had made it because I found pictures from magazines where she was trying to copy it. Let me get my iPad real quick, Lori, and I will show you guys how to find it. It's an incredible video. And You know, I also sold in another awesome marketplace, Lilyworks, for quite a while. And it was on there that we were doing like a teaching kind of weekend of videos, like a teaching train about jewelry or about different topics or about, you know, maybe how people fell in love with jewelry or the like. And so let me come to my page. Okay, so I'm going to just go. So my channel is called Cherish Relics Boutique. And obviously, maybe if I welcome in Evolved Vintage, welcome in. So here's my page. But if you go under the live section, you see, I have tons of posted videos, like hundreds. Like you could have so much to watch, like it's a lot. But then I also have a ton of lives. And so these were, a lot of them were, you know, live shows with selling. But again, I play games and I do all this other stuff and, you know, gab with my friends and all that. But again, over 100 of those. But if we scroll all the way down to the bottom of those, I got to keep scrolling. And then there was me telling the story. Let's see if I can find it. About my mother. Hold on. I thought it was right at the very beginning. Oh, here it is. Oh, no, that's not it. This is me about, okay, that's not it. Darn it. Where's the one about my mother? Okay, Lori, I'm going to have to find it because the problem is at the beginning here, I need to go back and retitle these. I always started them with YouTube Cherish Relics Boutique and then the title, but I need to flip it around because like later on, you see, I just now did the title and you know what's going on. So if you give me time, but I don't want to hold you guys up here on this video. Oh, did someone? Oh, I don't think someone found it. Gosh, but I know it was all the way towards the beginning of share your antiques collection. That's not it. Close it. Maybe this one's it. No. Okay. Well, I don't want to hold you guys up, but it's a great video. And it also really touches on love of our family and, you know, kind of finding things out when people die that you never expected, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah, I thought it was literally right at the beginning, but clearly not. And those are jewelry jars. A lot of times on lives, I'll open jewelry jars or I'll do jewelry hauls, which are quite fun. These all look like hauls. Let's see what this one is. Yeah, I'm not going to hold you up. We'll just look for it later. But I promise you, I will let you know. So yeah, if you guys come and follow me here, okay, I have a 911 followers. So working there. I'm trying to get there. If you kept opening them while you sat there, eventually one of them will open up and it'll talk about how I fell in love with jewelry. And then I'm going to have to switch the title, but you'll have to tell me if you find it, Lori, and then I can guide everyone. So anyways, back to these little ladies. When she died, these were all in her house. And then I know before they were in her house, they were in her mother's house. And what I want to say is we have a family of dancers. You see these little vintage ladies dancing, like, and these are beautiful porcelain, you know, made in Japan, old things. But the neat thing about the history of the women in my family is that everyone had some connection to you know, all my generations to some type of dancing. So if you go all the way back to my grandmother, my mother's mother, and I'm 55, so that's pretty, you know, she's already passed, been long past. She was into square dancing and she did square dancing for years with her husband, and they were in a square dancing group and all that sort of thing. And then my mother, she was very into, like I said, instruments and folk music, and she was a square dance caller and also got into clogging and all that sort of thing. So that's how she was kind of connected to dancing. And then when you get to my generation, I can't claim that I have any dancing love except going out with my friends and dancing for a girls' night. But what I really do for dancing is I love going to Zumba, because that's just my love and my exercise. I go, they're my peeps, and I go several days a week. But that is a form of dancing because we're doing it for exercise. But then, like my brother's daughter, two daughters are both like professional dancers, like ballet and tap and like the whole world, and like went to school for it. Super talented, uber talented. And then my daughter is, you guys know she's a competitive figure skater, but she also does competitive ice dance, which is two different worlds of figure skating. Regular freestyle is jumps and spins, and ice dancing it's focused more on the dance moves and certain elements and that sort of thing. And she's been to nationals several times as an ice dancer. So you see, it pulls in all the love for dancers. So I don't know. That's one thing I decided to hold on to, even though I got rid of a lot of the stuff when my mother died, because I don't know, it just makes me think of the ladies in my family. And, that's why I love vintage jewelry. That's why I love antiques, because I just love the story that these beautiful items held and the life they had before they came to be with us. And that's what's special to me. That's what I love. So we're going to see that tonight in brooches. Brooches, all of these brooches are vintage, and they've all had a life before they came to be with us. Some were definitely more valuable than others. So there's going to be some really incredible deals tonight, opportunities. But there's also going to be some real stunning, beautiful, gorgeous jewelry. So like I said, a lot of what I'm bringing is buyer's choice, but I'm doing that just because then we can have more fun looking at it. So we're going to start here with a buyer's choice with a whole bunch of birds, really pretty vintage enameled birds. Some have some rhinestones on it. This one is like a hand painted. It's made out of something completely different. It's super light, but it's hand painted. I think this is super, super old. That's an acrylic stone. I think that one could be antique, possibly, but I don't necessarily know that that's necessarily hugely valuable. I just know that it's antique. But I'm going to set all these little birds out for you. There is one set of birds that there's two of, so you'd want to, do the buyer's choice twice to get both of them, which is these little metallic-y kind of mint green ones. And I have a couple seagulls and the like. But I kind of, if as many of you know, the in my you can see it up there too. The logo I have for my business has a bird. So I tend to have a love for birds and things like that in jewelry. So of course, these are both metal and enameled. They are metal, and they are this one seems a little bit newer, but I believe birds on the beach. We also have a lovely, if anything, he might be the newest of all of them. Rhinestone kind of pave, textured, beautiful. I guess that's a flamingo, I guess. This is probably a hummingbird, textured gold tone, no brand. Oh, it might actually be Avon. So any of you who don't know this already, Avon, if you don't actually see the name Avon on jewelry, you can look super close up, and if you see something that has like a circle with a circle inside or a dot, it's hard for us to see on here. I can't even get it close enough. That means Avon. Sometimes they didn't have enough room to put. And yes, I believe that's what I'm looking at there, I believe. Okay. We have a cloisonne, a more modern cloisonne, beautiful little bird in a tree. And yeah, I don't see a brand. I see a mark, but not necessarily a brand. This one's really heavy. It's got some, kind of, it's a JJ brooch. So this one's going to be an incredible deal. Now that I realize that's JJ, I did not know that was JJ because the start price on this is quite low. But anyways, that's a beautiful brooch. Another metal enameled one with really lovely colors. This has got a swirly enamel with some rhinestones in there as well. And then, of course, we have these little matching dudes with their little red eyes soaring along. So anyways, I don't know if any of you are bird lovers either, but there we go. So let me find the listing for that. Literally, I had a $6 start. Oops, that was a mistake. All right, because JJ is worth more than $6. But anyways, for anyone takers who love the birds themselves, I'm going to start the auction, and you can let me know if you want to check anything out closer or if you're interested in any of those birds. I know the white ones are kind of hard to see. We've got 10 seconds left with all my little vintage birds. Thanks for letting me tell the whole story about the dancing ladies, you know. I think they're cool. Sorry, I'm trying to bring this further back so that I can quit filming my, you know, ruler down there. All right, so it looks like Lori gets to pick a brooch. Something's coming her way. I might not be too shocked which one she picks. Of course, I would too. But we did have other branded ones. I think that one's Avon, like I said. That's a very nice cloisonne one. This is a super nice brooch. I don't see a brand on it, but anyways, so good for Lori. I'm happy for you. Betty, happy. So there you go. It's really heavy, Lori, and it's in immaculate condition. So you're going to be really happy with that. So there you go, headed your way. All right. So I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to start the auction again for any takers on any of the other bird brooches, any of the takers. Yes, it was in the top right. That's correct. That's the one I grabbed. It's going to really bug me that I know that I titled that video something about how I fell in love with jewelry or where I got my love of jewelry, but it's going to bug me. So anyways, I appreciate you guys taking a look at those, but you see how much easier that was? I didn't have to sit there and go, you know, let's run an auction. Let's run an auction. Let's run an auction. I just want to sit here and talk to you guys. That's what I'd rather do, and hear from you in the chat. So Debbie, if you're still there, I'm curious where you had traveled to go get your most recent kind of jewelry haul. And I know that your husband was there with you testing sterling in the background. Oh, Massachusetts. Very nice. And where do you live, Debbie? In New Jersey. Okay, very good. Yeah, I'm up that way often because my daughter lives in New York City. And, you know, I think her coach actually lives in New Jersey. That's like an easy, you know, just across the water. So there you go. And so you're probably just like this or at least I'm talking to those that are resellers. Every single time I go and I travel somewhere, I always love to go check out new thrift stores, antique stores, you know, whatever's nearby when I'm in a new area, because, you know, you kind of get bored. Bored maybe is the wrong word. You definitely have your favorite stuff at home, but you can get bored going to the same place over and over again in your local area. And sometimes you just got to stir things up. And so it's just, you know, any vintage jewelry or even antique for that matter, you know, we're always out there on the hunt, and it's the hunt is the most fun part, just kind of exploring and discovering. So I'm sure that's what Debbie was up to. So, okay, let me see what I can do here. I have another buyer's choice here that has a whole bunch of prong, that and eating lots of seafood. I'm sure that was the case. Definitely. Okay, these are some lovely brooches, and every single one of them are prong set gemstones. So, I will never claim to be a professional in this jewelry world. I've learned a lot from a lot of the other amazing resellers and YouTubers that I've, become friends with in this community. But I have learned a lot. And, so I just try to gab and share the stuff I learned for those that are kind of new to to jewelry or whatever, if you're kind of exploring that or vintage jewelry. But whenever you're looking for the value of something, um, being able to find brooches that have prong set rhinestones here are always going to be more valuable than brooches that just have glued in rhinestones. And I'm not going to say that's always the case, because you could have like a high end, like there are some higher end vintage jewelry brands, Monet, and I'm sure they've glued in some of their beautiful rhinestones too. So I'm not saying that this is always going to be more expensive than that, but when you're comparing the same size brooch with the same elements, and one is prong set and the other is not, in my opinion, it's always going to be more valuable having the prong set. That being said, there's a certain way you got to care for those prong set jewelry, rhinestones, because you cannot and do not want to immerse any of these into water when you're cleaning them. You can certainly clean the surface by using, I use like a vinegar and water solution, and I put it on a toothbrush and I just lightly brush the top. But if you get too much liquid that falls behind these prongs, behind the rhinestone, those rhinestones are foil backed, and that's what gives them their sparkle. How else are you going to get the sparkle when this is riveted? Those aren't actually holes in the back, it's riveted. But let me give you an example of that one's also riveted, more rivets. Okay. How is that sparkling if there's no light that's shining through? It's because the back side of the brooch is foiled, and the light reflects off that, and it gives you the beautiful sparkle. So you never want to immerse it. You always want to just clean it on the surface. And it will last longer for sure. So let's just show you these real quick. We've got this one, an oval, beautiful, with some oval shaped kind of burgundy rhinestones. A lot of these have these elements with this like filigree and twisting wire. Now, none of these that I'm showing you right now are gold filled, I don't believe. Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure I already pulled out all the gold filled ones. These are all just gold tone, but lovely. Okay. We've got this beautiful purple one with beautiful color, in excellent condition. The gold tone looks fantastic. We've got this beautiful pink one. Okay. This one's a little bit larger, but still gorgeous. Riveting will help give you a time frame for when some of these brooches were made. I can't actually remember exactly when rivets started to be used, but that does exist. If you look that up and look about, certain clasps on brooches, as well as, the construction gives you a time frame for when things were made. So there you go. I'm just double checking each one to make sure they weren't gold filled, because I had that in a different lot. I didn't actually test that to see if it was jade. I'll turn on my gem tester here next to me, so we can just test it. Otherwise, it's just going to be a little glass cabochon that's in there. And I guess that one isn't officially prong set, nor is it bezel set. It's just glued in there, but I stuck it in there anyways. Apparently, that was a mistake on my part. Okay. So anyways, let me pull those up for any takers on the beautiful. And let me tell you, if you ever want a really good gift idea for, I'm obviously, the order this is not the order that my picture's in. I'm just prepping you, okay? But if you ever want to like fancy up a gift and you're wrapping a gift, a really cute idea to use with not super expensive, like these aren't going to be crazy expensive, but there's also a lot of more lovely brooches you can get even for less expensive than this. But a cute thing is to tie it onto the tag, and what a great thing to hand. Thank you for looking that up. You might have already noted in your head. Rivet and swedge construction was popular in the 40s. Yeah, I was going to guess 30s, so I was not far off, but I love that she either knew that in her brain or looked it up. I have it all written in like a chart somewhere, but I wasn't going to go. I literally have all this like information saved in a file in my photos on my phone, but my phone is currently being used with you guys. So that's fantastic. I appreciate that, Debbie. Okay. So these are going to be an $8 start. Gorgeous, in great condition. I'm going to start that. If there's any of those brooches that you guys think are fabulous. And so Cannes Treasures is winning for $8 bid. And so, obviously I will keep rerunning the auction. Just so you know. But she must see something that she loves. So I'm going to let Cannes Treasures. What's your first name, Can? If you feel comfortable, you don't have to tell me your name. I never want someone to feel, like they have to. But then I can call you about your first name. So that is a great selection and a great deal. And it's bigger. So I'm going to tell you that is right at about 2 inches. So you got a great pickup. Your name's Corey. I'm going to write that down right now. Thank you so much. Cannes Treasures. I've had another person. K and S Treasures. Oh, okay. That sounds familiar. K and S Treasures. Oh my God. I'm a reading teacher, so I'm just pronouncing the word. So, I appreciate you clarifying that for me. That's funny. Thank you, Corey. Have you bought from me before? Because I recognize that name. Anyways, well, there you go. That's why I recognize K&S Treasures. But it's been a while, and you probably bought from me when I was selling in Lilyworks, and I took a little 3-month hiatus there for a while. So yeah. So I'm just going to write K and S. We're all about simple around here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that. And you know what I'm also going to do is I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to make it a $7 start instead of 8. Not 87. We don't want that. I knew you sounded familiar. I'm so confused. Well, apparently I didn't switch it. Hold on. How long of a break was it? It was about 3 months that I really wasn't doing live videos. I was still selling on eBay and still on my YouTube channel. Was just taking a break. My phone is just being super slow, and it wasn't updating the thing that I had done, which was highly annoying. But now we got it. Okay, so I'm going to start the auction now. Flippin' Vintiques. Jamie, thanks for popping in. Good to see you. It was nice chatting with you the other day in our messaging. So thanks for that, Corey. I appreciate it. All right. And Corey's in again. She sees something else she might be interested in. This is a buyer's choice. All prong set except for that one in the middle. And it looks like Corey gets to choose again a favorite. And regarding this one that looks jade, hold on. I do believe it's probably nephrite jade. Hold on. It keeps sliding off of it. I'm not convinced. It could just be glass. I'm not getting the best reading, but regardless. So, all right. So what are you thinking? The pink one, bottom right. Again, another larger brooch. That is great. You have great taste, Corey. And again, that one is looking at about 2 and 1/8 of an inch, just a little bit more than 2. So all the stones, none of them look dead. What I mean by a dead stone is like what I was talking earlier about. If water gets behind there, they can lose their sparkle. But that one looks fantastic. So congrats on that. Woohoo! And I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to run it again. And I'm starting the auction now for anyone else interested in any of those that are left. And so we've got 15 seconds. left for that $7 start on all those prong set, except for that one in the middle. So apparently I got that in there. Okay, so thank you for that. All right, perfect. So we're going to move on. We're going to say goodbye to those and try to pick up something a little bit different. Just wanted to hop on and wish you a terrific sale. Oh, you're so sweet. I appreciate you doing that. That's very nice, Jamie. And again, it was nice chatting with you the other day. I was watching one of your lives. I wanted to try to get on there during your live when you were doing one the other night, but I had something that I had like previous plans and I couldn't be there. So I went back and I watched it. So anyways, you had a lot of opals and a lot of, Native American, a lot of Native American stuff. You must be in an area where you can buy. You kept mentioning a place that you would visit, and it was a specific kind of Native American inlaid stuff. I don't know. You were naming it. There was some name you kept saying of a place. I can't remember what that is, but anyways. All right. So, hi, Mel. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. These are not prong set. So, like I said, prong set ones can often be, in my eyes, more valuable. But these, for not prong set brooches, are stunning, beautiful. And this, like that middle one's about 1.5 inches. Maybe these are about 1.25 inches. So we've got some kind of peacock blue AB double circle intertwined one there. This one's, all AB kind of like bluish AB rhinestones, and that look beautiful. But again, it's glued in. It's a more modern brooch, as you see. I don't see a brand on it. And then this one's beautiful. I actually thought this one was sterling. And I lie. This one actually is prong set. On the back, hold on, let me see what it says. It says made in China and then BBW, which I don't know what that stands for, but now it's not marked sterling or anything. It just kind of resembles the look of sterling. If you look, sorry, my light helps us see close up. If you look right back there, but I tested it. It's not. It's not prong set. It's just made to look prong set, but it's still glued in. They're beautiful. I tried to clean it up. It got some, there's like smudges on top of the AB stones that I was trying to get off. Maybe someone put hairspray on it. It was, trying to get that clean. But anyways, so those are lovely brooches. And I'm going to bring those as soon as I find them. I have so many brooches. These are only just a splattering of them. And there's going to be a lot more pricey brooches tonight. I'm just trying to start off with some ones that are a great deal. But I'm going to start the auction now for any takers on those beauties. So we can see, again, kind of peacock blue. And this definitely has some dimension in that one. Yeah. They're all pretty quality. Sometimes the glued in ones are not so amazingly quality, but those are pretty darn good. So thank you for looking at those. Welcome in, Sarah WK Merck. Maybe it stands for merchandise or something. Maybe you're a reseller. I don't know. Thank you for looking at that. All right, so let's look at something a little bit more substantial, shall we? I think we'll go to these. Now, most of the brooches tonight are unmarked, but that doesn't mean they're not a brand. It just means that they're unmarked. And, like Juliana quite often is unmarked. You can have some unmarked, Coro brooches. It's quite common. And I'm intimidated at the concept of trying to figure out which brooches are Juliana versus, when they're not marked. I know all the things you're supposed to look for, like, the the pin stop and the figure eight puddling and the way certain prongs fall within the placement of the brooch. And a lot of times Juliana has a lot of open back nauvettes. I know all those things, but I still am like not confident in my ability to determine that. So I really appreciate when there's a brand. This says Austria. This is a gorgeous, beautiful, quite unique brooch that has black prongs. It's got cupcake prong settings on those larger stones. That just means it has more of them going around. It definitely is dimensional. Look at all the little depth and layers of those. But this is a really unique brooch, it being black with the black prongs there. So I thought that one was neat. I mean, this looked like it could be Weiss. It could be, I mean, I don't know, but there's not a brand on it. Of course, I've Google lensed everything and I've tried to find comps that are exact, but I don't necessarily always find one. I found one like this. I found a listing that was just like this. Usually I try to go far below the listings. Yeah, you know what? I've looked up in that Juliana website before. And sometimes, you know, you know how certain brooches also came in different colors and, uh, I don't know. I still sometimes will have brooches where I think it could be Juliana, but then I'll question myself, even if I like was able to find one that was very similar. But I need to go on there and spend more time there. That I know that that's a huge website and is super helpful for people. Um, I don't know. The unbranded thing gives me anxiety. And I'll tell you why. Never in all of my reselling have um, right. I get that. But you also can get a lot of fakes that can almost look exactly the same. And they'll have like the teeniest little bit of details that you have to like really, really, really look with a fine tooth comb or whatever. I'm sure I'm saying the phrase wrong. Yeah. Do you see, Mel? That's what she was also saying there, to use the Juliana site. So tonight, I suppose some of them could be Juliana, but none of them came up as Juliana when I did Google Lens. So I guess that's to my benefit. But I will go spend more time in there. I don't know. This is why I'm intimidated by it, even with the Juliana site, even with having old vintage books that are for costume jewelry, even with Google Lens. I don't know. I've never messed up a sale ever. I've never identified something as a gemstone and had a client say, hey, this wasn't, topaz or this, because I have all the things I need. I have a presidium. I acid test everything. And I've never had someone return something and say, this isn't gold. Or, I just the other day literally sold a beautiful 14 karat gold bangle on my eBay store. It was bought for $940. When people spend that much money on a gold item on your website, for those of you who sell on eBay does this authentication thing where then they send your item to an authenticator before they send that item off to the actual buyer. Boy, wouldn't I be embarrassed if the authenticator got it and found out it wasn't gold. Someone makes mistakes. Maybe someone could test something and, it's really thickly gold plated and, you didn't scratch or you didn't wait long enough. When you do gold acid, you have to like let it sit on the thing long enough that I'm going to use that website. And I'm taking a picture of it with my other device to make sure I go to the right one. So hold on one second. And of course, I'm happy to say it was authentically as I said it was. But to tell you the truth, that was a $10 bracelet I found in an antique store that someone didn't know what they were doing, literally. And I sold it for $940. I'm not crying about that, but I'm a perfectionist and I don't want to do it wrong. And there's a lot of people in here who have bought jewelry from me over the last, year or two. And I've also never had anyone want to return anything because I fix everything. I clean I just want to do it well. And so that anxiety, I don't want to screw up. So that's all I got to say about that. Anyways, here we go on these brooches. I did some Google Lens searches on them. I found some that were very similar. And these I'm doing a $34 start on these. Now I'll have to say, I found some comps on the Austrian one similar to this. The comps are higher. I always shoot below the comps. So again, there's your Austria one and your this one. Hopefully that looks like Weiss to me, but it's not. It's not marked. Anyway, so I'm starting the auction now. If there's any of those brooches that anyone finds that they can't live without. So I think they're beautiful. And again, a lot of the reason why I did it is buyer's choice is so we could spend more time just looking at them and not doing auction. I hate doing that. I love just hanging out. So there you go. So thanks for taking a look at that. There have been brooches I've had in the past that I'm sure confidently were Juliana, and I've sold them for pretty high money, but I never called them Juliana because I just wasn't sure. I don't know. I guess it's something I need to work on. Anyways, not that I don't have a lot of incredible high level jewelry. I do, but that particular thing gives me anxiety. Okay, anyways, here we go. I'm much better with natural stones and gemstones. Everyone knows me as being pretty spot on with knowing all of that. And I think I've taught a few people some things, or at least, not people who have done it forever, but people who are new to jewelry. Anyways, I brought all these together because they're all cabochons that are either bezel set or prong set. We've got a beautiful scalloped I believe that's glass. I looked it up. I couldn't find an exact comp, found something similar. This is not highly old, Victorian, but this is vintage, but, metal. The gold tone is sort of matte on the front, but that, I believe that that's glass. So like if I hear, no, maybe that's, I don't know. That doesn't sound like glass, does it? These are, either glass or a gemstone. They sound different. Maybe that one might not be. Okay. So I believe that's a banded agate. It's cold, it registers slightly on my Presidium. We've got this one. Hey there, Chrissy. How are you? Good to see you. If we come back to something, what does this say? There's also a site. It's not Juliana. They are training albums that were written. I gave Curry the website info last week. You sure did. I just wondered if she had checked it out. I didn't this week just because I was really busy. But I'm going to also screenshot that. I did take pictures of that when you were on your live. There's a lot of great resellers in here. I know Granny's Vintage does resell. You can go check out her channel. Obviously Gypsy Warrior, go follow all of them so you can see when these great resellers are on. I will definitely check it out. Will this be in my store now as the auction goes on? No, I wasn't going to put them in as a buy it now just now, but Lori, if any of these don't sell tonight, eventually they're going to go into something, but I have so much jewelry. It takes me forever to do that, but you can at any time just message me, Lori, if you needed to wait or like we're waiting for, for hubby to get a paycheck or, maybe people reach their quota and then, oh, you're taking pictures. Got it. But you can always reach out to me, message me. So anyways, these are going to be buyer's choice. They're all really quality ones. This one actually has a brand on it. Hey there, Carrie, how are you? I'm not super familiar with the brand. It says EL, but it's a really heavy, well-made brooch. Okay. And I think that's jade. It definitely goes up like nephrite jade. The other one, I think possibly might just be glass because I don't get as high of a reading. Okay. That one is obviously neither. But this one is probably the nicest one of all of those. How you doing, Carrie? I will be at Body Sculpt tomorrow, by the way. So I'll see you for sure there. You will be there tomorrow, right? Okay. I have, which is an incredible deal. But I have an $11 start on these. Oh, hey, Val, how are you? Good to see you. I know it's in the auctions running now, an $11 start on those beautiful brooches. I don't know. I think those two are the nicest. If any of you like natural stone, if that's your gig, yes, for sure. You went on like a little vacation, right? Thanks for looking at that, guys. Okay. All right. I have one here that's just, I'm going to have some other ones that are just individual and not necessarily. I had this in the buyer's choice for this one, but then when I Google lensed everything, which I always do, I found out that, and I saw the mark on the back, this is actually goldette. So this one has a much higher value starting point. It's got some little rhinestones that are in there around, as well as some really lovely textured and dimensional kind of scrolling, vine work there or whatever around. And that's, like a cobalt blue glass there in the center. Okay. But this, I think the listing I saw was like $45. It was definitely not cheap. So I'm going to start the auction now. I had a $21 start on this little dude. I found one, like I said, very similar. And I did check this one. Oh, you're at a wedding. That's right. Did you wear any of those new earrings you bought for me for your wedding? Yeah, this is just glass. Poconos. That's fancy pantsy. Okay, cool. Thank you for looking at that. I'm not necessarily specifically playing any games tonight because my hands were going to be busy with all these buy it nows. All right. So how about we do some, what I believe to be at least a couple of them, possibly Judy Lee brooches. Judy Lee, I can go on and find some Google searches. And when you look at the construction on the back, I found some other Judy Lee brooches that the construction looked almost identical, and the use of some of these, little teeth, I don't know, I guess houndstooth kind of settings there for those cabochons, and yeah, there's some also on that one. So they are not marked with Judy Lee, but I don't know, they kind of resemble, a lot of Judy Lee style brooches. So could be, not sure, but they are all prong set as you see it, not missing any prongs, and in excellent condition. Okay. Different variations of like a denim blue. This one has more like a brassy, almost brownie part on the back. And then these are, of course, silver tone. Okay. So for those, I just did some Google searches and obviously found stuff similar. But most, even if they are Judy Lee, most of those brooches are hitting around $40 when you're Google lensing them. So I have a $28 start point there. A lot of people have vintage earrings, and sometimes it's fun to look at all these vintage brooches because sometimes you can find some matches to some of your vintage earrings. We got 10 seconds left. And she says, I wore the big sparkle earrings I got from you and the necklace I just got last week from you. Oh, cool. The one with the sterling silver stuff with the rhinestone butterfly and flower. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so happy. Did you get any compliments on it? You see, we've got real jewelry resale in action there, guys. Thanks for looking at that. Welcome in. Love me some vintage again. And Aaron Wang, welcome in. Okay. So I will. I'm going to bring you one that is stunning. This is actually sterling silver. I have tested it. Very old, very tarnished. And when you do a Google lens on this, I find many brooches that come up, the exact brooch, all saying sterling. I can't remember if it had a brand but let me Google lens it real quick. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Google lens, let me show you. Everyone has it on their phone. Most people have the Google app on their phone. If you click on the Google app, it'll bring you to, your Google search. And if you click here on that little camera looking thing, it will bring you to something that's called Google Lens. And the great thing about Google Lens is what it does. It also, you can do Google Translate in it too. But what it does is it does a visual search based on the picture that you take. So I'm going to take a picture of this. And based on, now look at all these beautiful untarnished ones. You can see that one. It's the same one, Lily of the Valley. Let's see what that one. I saw someone had like $150 on theirs. Oh, well, that's not going to bring us there. Let's see here. Well, that one, not sure if that's the same one. That one is slightly different. That one's not it. But that one might be it. That one definitely looks the same. You see the end. Not exactly the same, actually. The end of this, you see, you have to pay attention to these details. See the end of that? It's a little bit different than the end of this. And so when someone is thinking they're looking at the same brooch, now I don't doubt that mine is sterling. This I know because I've tested it. Here's another one. You see, I think this one someone marked like a ridiculous price. $550? Like, seriously? For a sterling brooch? That's pretty hefty, people. Especially if I can find some other people who, like here on Etsy. You see, that one is the one that's not mine. You see the tip of that? Slightly different. You got to find one that's exactly the same. Oops, sorry. And mine is so dark and tarnished. You see, there's one there for 176. Let's see if that one. No, that's the one that isn't the same. There's an Etsy. Okay, they're calling it a Victorian one. Well, regardless, even if there's ones that are similar, we can still get an idea. That one actually is very different. Let's not do that one. This other one is more of like a, we're going to look at this one. So although it's not exactly the same, it's still sterling. You see those prices there? Woo! Oh my goodness gracious. Wow. Again, I've tested it. I don't find a sterling mark, but it might be up here somewhere, and it's just so darkly tarnished that it's hard to tell. But I am going to just create a listing for that. And I'll just try to go somewhere like half of what that was. 150, like 75. I don't know. I'll put like $85 or something, which I think is still pretty steep for a sterling brooch, but there must be a reason. Okay, I think I'm just going to put 79. Okay, so, but this isn't, in fact, actual Victorian because, the clasp on there is newer. Obviously, it's a safety hinge in there is a much newer clasp. Sorry, I don't have to create these listings for all this stuff. But anyways, if there's any takers, I'm going to run it. And there you go. It's really heavy. I could actually tell you how heavy it is. What'd she say? It's important to find sold comps because people can ask whatever they like, but it doesn't mean that it'll sell for that price. Correct. And I agree with that 100%. Sold comps are super important. And when I go into eBay, I go into the advanced search and I can find actual sold comps, but I can't Sometimes I can't always. And so in my mind, I'm always, whenever I'm looking at those price points, I'm never thinking of those price points as a sold price point. That's why I go far below it. Because, a lot of times people are offering on jewelry and sell it for way lower than their asking price. I 100% agree with you, Debbie. Very, very true. Okay. So that is almost 31 grams. That's a lot. It's a heavy brooch. Quite stunning. So anyways, there you go. Thank you for taking a look of that. But not, I don't know how to look for sold comps on any other platform besides eBay. Do you have a resource you use? Like some people I think might pay for first dibs. I don't know if WorthPoint. Okay. Do you have to pay for a membership on WorthPoint? Because I know that you can view sold comps in other places as well. You do. I know my friend Mel, I think at some point was on WorthPoint. What is it, like a yearly fee or something like that? Everyone who knows me knows my prices are always really, really reasonable. I'm never worried that I'm pricing anything too high. Let me just say that, because I'm always going so far below what I see in research. Okay. WorthPoint. You have a yearly subscription. Okay. How much does it cost, Mel, to do a year? Just out of curiosity. Okay, so here are some just sparkly brooches. Again, none of these are prong set, but they are stunning and beautiful. And I actually discovered, I believe this one is listener, because I didn't at first see, but it says listener here. So that's actually a listener brooch. But, all glued in, but beautiful, just stunning, dimensional, all the things. This brooch here, clear rhinestone, again, glued in, but it's got some little kind of mill grain, which are like the little dots kind of around in the details of jewelry, construction and decor or whatever. And then here we have some texture going on around these again are all glued in. But I love the open work about all of these brooches. So that brooch is about 2.5 inches. These are big. This is about 2.25 and about 2.25. So yeah, just know, So I couldn't find brands on the other two, but I do know that one's listener. And I did compare it to a, Google Lens comp, which I know is not a a sold comp, but it was so long ago, I can't remember. My renewal should be coming up. Got it. Anyways, so if you wanted an amazing deal on some beautiful, sparkly, like I literally put $9 on these. I realized they're probably about $20 if you sell them on eBay or whatever, but that's what I put. So I'm starting the auction on the $9 buyer's choice. So again, we're looking at that one. We're looking at that one. And we're looking at that one. And so Lori's in, and KS Treasures is in for 12. This one is probably the most valuable one. Again, I'm guessing probably 20, 25, whatever. None of them are sterling, though. So it looks like Corey gets to pick, and I can't even make a prediction. Personally, I love the daintiness. I love the little, flowers of this one made from all the rhinestones, the open work. But which one do you pick? This one's heavy. They're all great, fabulous ones. So Corey got that for $16. Great deal. And she picks the listener. All right. That's an excellent choice. And it's in great condition, very clean. And that's what it's looking like. So congrats on that. I don't think, I might be able to fit it in there. Maybe. We shall see. So I am going to duplicate that while I get ready. And so it will be for those two. which are lovely, still just gorgeous brooches. And I'm going to start the auction now, a $9 start on the other two. And the auction's supposed to start. Don't know why it isn't. That is, because I have to duplicate it. Hold on. Oh, something went wrong. Great. I must be having a problem with my signal. It's very odd. It wouldn't let me duplicate it. Very strange. And it doesn't fit. That's all right. I'll use that bag later. Hey, Miss Meow. It's so good to see you. How are you? I'm coming in to watch all the shows on Lilyworks this week. Like, I hadn't been in there forever in a while, and so long, and I was just anxious about coming back in there just because, I've been gone, and then I came to Mel's and I felt great, and I just, I love y'all and I miss y'all, and so I'm now just going to start coming. It doesn't even matter. I'm just going to come. So, because I always need to support my peeps, right? So I'm so happy to see you. So, so happy. And I always see, on our, on Facebook, all your beautiful, crocheted creatures that you make. Like, I don't know. I saw a ghost the other day. It was so cute. Let me see if there you go. Now it'll run. So $9 start on either of those. Again, we're looking about 2.25 to 2.5. And let me get the light up here so you can see how clean and they're great condition brooches. Really, really beautiful. All right. Thank you so much for taking a look at that. All right. So we're going to keep plugging along here. So, Dawn, do you sell all of those crocheted creatures? Do you sell them, here on District? Or do you have a store, or do you list them on eBay? Oh, I really need to go in and just order some for Christmas as gifts, because I just think they're so cute and unique. I love them. If anyone doesn't know, I don't know. I don't know if, I guess you also, you do lives here on District too. I don't know if you're currently doing lives, but at least I don't know if your Instagram is called Miss Meowie Vintage or if it's called something else, but you got to go find them because they're such interesting creatures on there. Anyways, let's keep going. Okay, so we're going to do some really, 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 really inexpensive brooches. These are the kind of brooches you can put on a kid's dress that you do not care, or put on a gift, or this is the kind of money that you're not going to stress about, if they get lost or if the kid, breaks it. All of these brooches are all, they're lovely brooches, but they're all, glued in rhinestones, no brands in here. I lie. There is something marked. Goodness gracious, I keep missing them. That says JJ, but I don't believe it. I feel like it can't possibly be JJ because the construction of it is not quality enough. And the little, maker's mark down in there, the cartouche or whatever, it's not a good clear. And I know all JJ stuff is always super clear. So I question that. But anyways, a beautiful brooch there. These are going to be an incredible deal. I'm just prepping you. And so this one, not sterling silver, lovely filigree with some glued in rhinestones. Again, that's just like it's not glass. It feels sort of like an acrylic one to kind of look like, to make it kind of look like, hematite or something. But, and then we've got this brooch here that I actually just went in tonight, and I glued in a center rhinestone myself. This is not a high level expensive brooch, but because the center one just looks so gross and yucky. Now I see my red one is not quite as deep red as the others, but I'm telling you, I'm doing a $4 start on these three, because they're just, it's glued in, kind of not fancy brand. They're just not highly expensive ones, but how cute is it to put it on a tag? Hey, Jen, how are you? So good to see you. We're sitting here doing some buyer's choice of some very low end at this moment, some low end brooches. But what a great idea to take these, and you can put them on like a gift tag when you wrap a present, or, again, you can put them in a stocking, or lower price ones. You're not stressed that something's going to happen if you break it, or a rhinestone falls out. But literally a $4 start on these. None of them are highly valuable, but they're beautiful and pretty and all that sort of thing. It is a great idea. I agree. So it's running now. Just, think about Christmas in your brain. How fun is it to wrap presents and put fun things like that? Or, you're giving friends a gift. You know how you give all your girlfriends like little gifts, and you can just tie it to the outside of a gift bag or whatever. So those are those. Then I'm going to go to these $3 start ones. These are a little bit smaller. Okay. All glued in filigree, still vintage. We've got some filigree backing there, no brand. But that is a prong set rhinestone right there in the middle, but all the rest is glued in. We've got, a silver tone, more modern one there. These are about 1.25 inches in size. This one might actually have a brand in it, but it's not a fancy brand. No, I can't even read it if it does. But just a Starburst one, okay? None of them are, but these are really, really great deals if you want to do something fun with like what I was mentioning earlier. So these are a $3 start on these not expensive ones, literally. So I'm going to start the auction there. And some fun ways to use those. But I can't like list this kind of thing. I suppose I could do like a lot and then list it on eBay. But usually most of the stuff I put on eBay are much higher level, more valuable stuff. Okay. So thanks for looking at that. Okay. So we'll go to some other buy it now options. All right. Thank you for that. Okay. So let's look at these brooches. These are lovely rhinestone brooches. Now, I have two. I don't know how I ended up with two of these. This is a buyer's choice, but you can only pick one. I did go on and I saw a Juliana version of a key that looks slightly different because it had an extra rhinestone there in the center. So I didn't believe that this was Juliana. I also don't believe it's Juliana because it doesn't have a pin stop. But I did find a Juliana one that was very similar. Anyways, I have two of these. A rhinestone fell out, which I can easily replace. But a lot of times with these vintage brooches, those rhinestones will start to look yucky. So these look fantastic. And then this is a citrine color. It's a slightly, if you compare it, it's also in yellow gold, so that does it. But I still feel like it has a hue to it that's slightly citrine in color, or maybe it's just because of the light flashing from, you see, if you look really close up, in between those bigger rhinestones, you have like this little part that goes over with little prawn set mini ones. So it might just be the light hitting all that gold tone that's kind of giving it the look of just a slightly, because it, see how different it looks from this, but it's not yellowed because of glue. These are, it's in immaculate condition. Okay, so there's that one. And then I have this one here, also all prong set. Kind of reminds me of like an award. You know what I mean? And this is what the back looks like. I could not find, I found one picture that was just like it, but when I clicked on it, don't you hate it when you click on a picture in Google Lens and then it brings you to something totally different, like a piece of clothing? Like I don't even understand how those are linked like that. So, anyways, we're going to run those. And I had an $18 start on those, buyer's choice, and it's running now. So I will put those up in my hand so you can see them nice and close as it's running. They're in great condition. The key one, I think, is really unique, to be honest. And I can't believe under 2 different occasions that I had 2 of them. And it's neat because down here, the part, that's supposed to be down to the end, like you're pushing it in, they use these little tapered baguettes. It's really neat. I love it when they create stuff that's not a typical brooch out of rhinestones, like when they do animals and they do, lots of different things. I think I literally have one that's a hockey stick, really with rhinestones. I think it might actually be in this room. I should go grab it to show you. So thank you for looking at those. I appreciate it. And Samantha just popped in again. Hello again. Still plugging along here. It's weird because the top of my thing is not adding up my total. That's so weird. I don't know what's going on. My phone is like not cooperating. I'm seeing if I can find the one that I had that was the hockey stick. I wanted to show it to you. I don't know for sure it's in here, but I think it might be. Oh, it is. I don't know why in the world I put it in here, but I mean, come on. If you're a hockey mom who loves vintage jewelry, I'm not selling this, but you can't do better than that, right? Isn't that cool? I had never seen anything like it. But there you go. The most unique piece of jewelry. We'll put it up here next to my thing in the bathtub, in my little vintage brass bathtub. Okay. And that's so unique. I loved it. Let's keep going, shall we? All right. Well, these are some lovely set of buyer's choice brooches here. All of them are prong set. We've got at least on 3 of them kind of this double circle halo, double linking circle thing going on. Let me find where that is. There's a lot in here. Okay, so this is going to be a $15 start, buyer's choice. All right. None of these have brands on them. This is a gold tone one, obviously. Just clear blue and green, but they're in great condition. And I actually just cleaned it today. Doesn't it look sparkly clean? I try to have it nice and clean for you. But that's a really lovely brooch there. And imagine if those were like the school colors of your kids' college or high school. I don't know. I'd say it's about 1 1/3 inches in that one. I got another one here with milk glass and Aurora Borealis on like a blue, like a topazy blue Aurora Borealis, all prong set, looking stunning. And then this one has some kind of filigree about the first. And then the rhinestones on this one are a little bit bigger. So you can see some different colors going on in there. And then this one, I found some that possibly might have been Coro that were using some of that, gold against that, beautiful kind of, I don't know, what do you call kind of that deep pink color, like a fuchsia, an AB fuchsia color. But this is a beautiful brooch, a little bit bigger than the others, about 1 3/4 inch. But I thought when I had looked at it previously that it was possibly like a Coro, but I can't find a brand or a mark anywhere on it. Okay. So 3 excellent options, $15 start, and the auction is running now. So for any takers, this one is definitely the deal of the day because that's a bigger brooch than the others. Kind of reminds me of like a hat, but it's, just the way it lifts up those center leaves. But aren't they pretty? I'm loving them. Love, love, love. So thanks for looking at those. And we'll keep plugging along here. It's so odd that my thing is not adding up at the top. That is so weird. Hold on. I got to look at something on my iPad to see if it's... So Jen, I know you're probably still in the, maybe you're still alive there. I know you were trying to go also see some other people who had some YouTube lives going on. But Jen's my friend who does, she does live sales. Are you still there? I don't want to talk if you're already gone or if you've left briefly. I was going to talk about while you were here. Hold on one second. Yeah, that's Corey. You might need to go and update your credit card because it's doing a failed payment. Sometimes you just have to go in there and put a new, sometimes there's like a new date. Maybe it's got like you got a new card and there's a new expiration date or something. But you might want to go in there and, just go in and double check it. Cause right now there was 3 failed payments and I want to make sure, that those are going through if we're, still adding some more to your order. So just something for you to check out real quick. Okay. So let's keep going. I'm going to do, these are some really unique brooches here. I kind of group them together because they have like a unique or glass or whatever, So I've got like a milk glass, sort of filigree scroll, floral, beautiful brooch there. Kind of looks Victorian to me, but I think it's a newer brooch. A little bit riveted construction there in the back. But we've got some houndstooth, or if you look really closely, they look like little mini fleur-de-lis that's holding that milk glass cabochon in. So that's one option. On this one looks really old to me. It does have a newer clasp on it. As you see there, it's got a safety clasp, so it can't be too old. But I love the way that those are attached. I'm thinking it's possible those could be coral. And I don't know if my friend Jen is still here. She knows everything about coral and pearls. She's like a walking, she is a gemologist. First of all, let's just say that. But she just has so much knowledge and is happy to share it. But I mean, coral is not like something I can check on my gem tester. They're cold like glass. But I just like the way, even the tops of those, it looks like little berries, the way that they, kind of held those in there. And then this last one has like a crackle glass there in those little kind of flowers. This might be a more modern brooch, but again, I don't see a brand on them. Okay. So I think there are 3 unique. Hey, do me a favor, Dawn. Just because I haven't heard anyone in the chat for a while, I just need to make sure everyone can hear me okay. And that volume's working and everything's fine. Just need to make sure because everyone's been so quiet in the chat. Sometimes it makes me wonder if great. That's all I need to know. Thanks, Mel. Okay. So, I'm going to bring that up to auction and those brooches. I'm going to do a $15 start on. They're really nice using different types of glass, brooches. I love them. So, Okay, good. Everyone can hear me. Thank you for checking in with me. I'm starting the auction now. So there you go on those. I mean, again, part of me feels like that's coral, which makes it, I think when I've looked that up before, I think I found some other things that were similar looking to those, but I never could find an exact comp. You know what I mean? So thanks for looking at that, guys. So Jen must have popped in. She must have went out again. She's multitasking, she says. I believe it. She's probably getting ready for her sales. So, so are you doing any live sales, Dawn? Because I can't remember if you actually do live sales, also for jewelry, or if you usually just are doing the crochet stuff. I can't ever remember. You can tell me. Okay. These are all sterling silver. Okay. Very, very old floral brooches. They've all been tested. Yep. No iPhone yet. Got it. Okay. I'm sure that having the iPhone definitely makes things easier for sure. But I absolutely know, Dawn, that you have an incredible collection because I know the things that you've bought from me over the time I've known you. So if you look back here, it does say sterling right there on the next to the bar going up this, like the stem of the flower. It says sterling. It's very tarnished, but I have tested it. Those, hold on. Those are glass, it feels like a glass rhinestone in there. Yeah. Just an older one, not a faceted one or anything. Okay, so that one was sitting there upside down. But here we have a mark right there, and it says it's been rubbed off completely. But then there's also a little mark here that says sterling. Again, that has been tested. And I was able to find a comp picture of that one as well as a comp of that one. And then this one's interesting. It's got like some moon glow, like acrylic little additions there, accents. Also, these have a gold wash over them. Some of them looking more coppery, and this one's more of a bright gold, but it's like a gold wash over that sterling. Okay. And the mark on this one is down here. Okay. This one's a brand. This one says Wilcox Sterling. Okay. So, yeah, 3 floral, sterling silver brooches. And let me find the auction. I really prefer doing these buyer's choices ones because I just hate doing auction. I like just doing it a little bit, showing all the pretty jewelry and then all that. So I'll put these up in my hand so you get a little closer look. But definitely older, all that. So comps for me were looking more like 40s, 45 even on some of them. But I had a $24 start on those sterling, kind of vermeil brooches. Which, they all have safety clasps, no C clasps that I see, but all still very nice. So thank you for looking at my little garden. And by the way, speaking of garden, I'm going to give Mel a little shout out. Mel is my friend. She's Granny's vintage, but she she resells, vintage and costume jewelry, but she also likes to get a lot of craft materials so that she can, create different things. And, I know you've seen people do these before, but she uses, the things left over from jewelry, your craft lots, and then she'll go and she'll make little things. I bought this from her a while back. Just a little floral thing that she made, adding all of them on there. Isn't that cute? Are you there, Mel? I'm chatting about you. So cute. So, you know, all the lovely, fun things we can sometimes do with those vintage pieces. I know I have it up on my shelf, Mel. Think about you all the time. So there you go. Okay. How about we do, these are all gold filled vintage jewelry, brooches, I mean, really dainty ones. I definitely have a favorite in here. I'm going to see if you guys can guess my favorite without me telling you. I'm going to show them all to you. But I definitely have a certain style that I like, and maybe one of y'all can guess it. Welcome in, thrifty little mama. Anyways, so some of these are branded too. So they're gold filled, but then also with brands. So let me just briefly go over them with you. Okay. All right. So I've tested that to see if it was like onyx or anything. It is a prong set, cold, uh, you know, it appears to be just glass, cabochons there. Now its mark does not have a brand. Oh, I'm wrong. I see a brand and it just says KGF. And if it was an RGF, I would think it might mean rolled gold filled, but it's literally a K. And elsewhere it says uh, 12 karat gold filled. So it says 12 karat gold filled right here next to my thumb. And then over under here, it had those letters. So I don't know. I did find some comps for it, but it's a nice little circular brooch. Another circular brooch here using glass rhinestones, faceted, different colors. I checked. They are not actual gemstones or anything, but it's a very nice looking brooch. Open back there to allow the light to come through on the you know, on the glass stones there. And it's Vandel 12 karat gold filled. The mark is up here on the rim. Okay. Hi there. Nice to see you. Thrifty thrift little ma. You have to say, you have to tell me your first name, so I'll call you by your first name. And welcome in. Hey, AIA Haley. Okay. That sounds familiar. Maybe I've sold to you before. I don't know why that sounds familiar. I always keep a cheat sheet here so I can remember all of you guys. So nice to meet you, Haley. And then hey, AIAM Maggie, which I assume must be Maggie because it's in her username. So that one's a little bit easier to guess your first name, then I can call you by that. Okay. So anyways, lovely. It does, like I said, that one said, Vandel. It's up there, marked right there. Okay. So we've got a heart. It's an authentic pearl there that, we see, and it doesn't have a brand. All it literally said, it says T and K. It's written like this. Someone tell me what that stands for. I got to write it like they have it. It's like that. Does anyone know that brand? Obviously a vintage brand, but it does have its marks there that stands for that. So if any of y'all know, you can share that with me. We've got some little carved, I don't know if they're even allowed to carve ivory or bone anymore. Certainly we're not allowed to sell that. What would Vandel typically do it? I would assume it's like an acrylic or something. But this also says Vandel gold filled. It says it under there. And then this one says KL which might be Kenneth Lane, Kenneth J. Lane, 12K gold filled. I don't know if that's the kind of style It's not really typically his style. And then this little floral brooch just says 12 karat gold filled, and I don't see a brand, but it's got its mark right here. I hate that I can't zoom in on here. It makes me crazy because I think some people have a phone. Specifically, I got to ask you this. Debbie, are you still here from, hold on, I got to switch pages here. Gypsy Warrior, Debbie, you were doing a live the other day, and you're able to zoom in so like this close on your phone, and my phone won't focus that close. So I don't know, but I have an iPhone. Mine's like a 14. Maybe people have newer versions that allows them to focus, but some people are able to focus super close during their lives here on, but I can't, and I don't know why. It makes me crazy. So anyways, there's that brooch. And then we've got a little wishbone. It also has an authentic pearl in there, and its marks for gold filled are right there in the middle. And this says BAL. Sorry, it's tarnished. Balron, BAL-RON, I think is what it says. Anyways, so we'll put the color one in the middle and spread out all the goodies there. So we're going to do a buyer's choice there of all those. Do any of you want to guess? So no one knew what that stood for, huh? I certainly don't know. Did any of you guess which one you think is my favorite? Just take a guess. Just take a wild guess. And I'm going to go find this listing while you guys try to figure out what my favorite one is. Good luck. Make some guesses. Let's see if anybody's right. Although I love the middle one, it is beautiful. That's not my favorite one. I think I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to be a wild girl, and I'm going to lower these gold-filled, beautiful pins to 19. Definitely have a higher value than that, but we're just going to do that. So, yeah, not the middle one. This flower on the left, is that which one you mean? The bouquet. This is my favorite. That's right. Yes, I love that. I just love that it's dainty. I don't know. Everyone, but Haley was correct on that. So I'm updating my listing. And I don't know. I love that also in the center of this, it has like, they're like little bowls, and then the flowers are textured. I just think that brooch is so pretty. Anyways, they're all lovely. I'm going to start the auction now. Welcome in, Karen. Nice to have you in. And so it's a $19 start. All of them are gold filled. Lots of really great options. But I would say that's probably my favorite. And then this is probably my second favorite. And then I might like the wishbone just because it's different, So there we go. Thanks for looking at all those gold-filled babies. All right. So I have here another brooch that I was going to just do a listing for right now. This brooch is stunning. I do. Yes, we have the same taste, Haley. These are prong set. This is an authentic pearl. Look how beautiful it is there in the center. And then if you look close up at the construction of this, you see how there's holes back there. So these are actual, I don't know if they're cute. They're not like diamond or white topaz or anything like that, because I did test it with my gem tester. But they're at a minimum cubic zirconia, but it's light can go through because you can see all those little holes there that it can get through. But that's a real pearl there in the center, and just a really lovely, sparkly textured brooch, right? Isn't it beautiful? I love it. And so I was just going to create a listing for this. I just hadn't done it ahead of time. I can't find an exact comp for this. I find, I guess, something similar, but I wasn't able to find an exact one. Gold tone prong set. Hold on. I can't find a listing for one, but it is real. And I also was trying to see if I could find any marks for like sterling. I did test it for sterling and it's not. But although I did test it, but this is like a nicer brooch for sure. So I was going to put a $21 start on that. This is beautiful. So for anybody who's interested, I'm going to start the auction now. It definitely is beautiful. And a real pearl in the center. You see how pretty it is? And we got 10 seconds left. The construction of the back. It's a nice one for sure. All right. Thank you for looking at that. All right. Let me do these other little, these are like my teeniest ones that were the buyer's choice of the really, really not fancy brooches. Like I think I have a $2 start on these. You could literally put it on a kid's dress because you're not going to be worried about getting lost. But all of the rhinestones on there they're glued in. But they're still pretty little, pins, brooches, a little bit bigger than an inch each. So I literally have a $2 start on this, attach them to a gift or, use them as little extra gifts to put in goodie bags. I don't know. But I started the auction now. So we have a $2 start on those teeny little colorful filigree brooches. And I know a lot of you probably, because I know you guys are out there like multitasking. I usually am multitasking as I'm watching. Thanks for the bid there, Maggie. I think before you popped in the live, I was, talking about how these really inexpensive brooches are really nice things to like add to like a tag of a gift to pretty it up, or it's just you're not worried about it, it's not some thing falling off, and it just adds a little touch. But which one were you interested in? Maggie, can't beat $2, right? And she says, now I did run some $3 ones and some $4 ones. So again, if anyone pops in late, if there's any of those buyer's choices that you guys want me to rerun, then just holler at me and say, hey, can you rerun whatever buyer's choice? And I'll do it for you. So, oh no, it was a buyer's choice. Buyer's choice, pick one. So which one were you interested in? Let me see if I can get a little closer. So you can see there in the little title of the listing, it says buyer's choice, pick one. She wants all of them for $2. That would be a really amazing deal. So there's the purple one there with sort of like fleur-de-lis kind of on the ends. I think that's probably my favorite one. This one's got some faux pearls, open work a little bit, and then we've got the one with the blues, a little teeny seed bead ones. So which one do you pick, Maggie? She says blue. Okay, and I'm going to show you that one closer up. Looking like that. And the back looks like that. Okay. Very good. Okay, so I'll add that. And I'm going to rerun it if anyone wants to pick a different one. So I will rerun it. I started the auction again for those if anyone's interested in any of those. So maybe Maggie wants all three. Then this is the way we do that. Okay, let me get a baggie for you. And right now, Maggie is winning with a $2 start. I love it. I love giving out the good deals there. And so she won that one. And so which one do you pick second? I'm literally just going to write Maggie on here. I know you have a username, but there's not another Maggie that I'm worried about. I'm mixing you up with. So you get to pick between one of those two. And for those of you who don't know, it's $5 shipping for the first item and then 50 cents for each additional item. And I will pay overages on the left one. Very nice. I will pay overages if the shipping is over by $1, or, I'll usually meaning if it's like $2 over what I paid for your shipping, I will refund you, up to $1 from like my expenses or whatever. So anyway, so that one's going to also go in there, and I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to be a real wild child. Are you ready for this? This time I'm going to lower it to 1. Oh my goodness gracious. I don't think I've had a $1 start ever, but now that's running for $1. So maybe he can go home and have a friend. Auction starts now. And Maggie's going to have the whole thing. So again, for $5, you were able to get all the lovely little teeny brooches that, again, all rhinestones, but they're like glued in ones, but they're still very pretty and clean. They're in great condition, all the things. So there you go. Perfect. So thanks for that. Let me make those fit in there a little better. Don't want that to happen. There we go. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. How about we'll do these rhinestone brooches. I was able to find this one. There was a listing for this one I saw, just a listing, not a sold price. That was around $60. It is pretty stunning, beautiful. You can see we've got some, houndstooth settings for those brown, marquee. A lot of AB crystals there, accenting that kind of little floral look. You don't often see brown in these brooches. So definitely a fall brooch. There's the construction of the back. I couldn't find a brand. I found someone, but also when they listed it, they didn't have a brand on it either. All right. And so the next one I have to show you here, part of me felt like this must be like Austria, made in Austria or something. But I can't find a mark on it anywhere. But it does have those open navettes. Now, it's not uncommon for Juliana brooches to have open back navettes, but that doesn't mean other brooches can't also have open back navettes. And so it's kind of got, amber and citrine color with some little touches of green. Okay. But I will have to say, I know it's not Juliana because it does not have a pin stop, which I know is a Juliana thing. See, it goes all the way back. So, so that's two lovelies. And then this one is gorgeous. Again, some browns in here, which is very unique. We've got some super thin navettes. I mean, I usually call marquis the fatter ones like this, and I usually call navettes these. I mean, they're both a similar shape, and I am sure people interchange those terms often. But again, prong set, a mixture of pinks and browns. A lovely. It does have some dimension going on, but not quite as much as the others. These have way more dimension to them, as you can see. Okay. And let me pull those up. Okay, I'm going to edit this and make it 37. Again, I did find a listing there for that, an asking price of in the 60s. So I'm going to move those to stage, and I'm starting the auction now for any takers on those beautiful, lovely pieces. And we've got 8 seconds left. Appreciate you looking. I hope you have your sunglasses on. Everyone, welcome in. Wendy's Blings. That's a cute name. Love that. Okay, thank you for looking. Appreciate that. Okay, doing a lot of buyer's choices here. Again, if you come in late and you look down in my store, most of what I've run tonight is buyer's choices. At any time, I'm happy to go back and rerun any of these. So just holler at me and say, hey, will you rerun that buyer's choice? I don't know, actually. Hold on. Let me ask you this question. Mel, are you there? Because you know how what I see when I go in my store is different than what you guys see. And I want to know if after an auction has run, I know that well, actually, I know you can still see it if it's run and it wasn't purchased. So I guess I'm not worried. I know you guys should still be able to see all those in the store, right? The gold tone cubic zirconia pearl. Sure. I think it's part of, maybe you found a listing. Maybe you found it's right here, actually. Maybe you found a comp for it. That's the one you're talking about, right? So I did test it for sterling silver. I didn't test it for gold, which probably I should have, but it's not magnetic, but it doesn't have marks. Now, I will tell you, when I gem tested the stones, they just came up as like a cubic zirconia. But real quick, I just want to do a quick scratch test for gold just to double check that. Just give me 1 second. And then you guys can learn. You can watch me do a scratch test. If this is gold, it would have had marks on it, but it's not magnetic, and sometimes things are not. And I just, since that's an authentic pearl, I better double check. Anyways, so I need to do 3 very small scratches, because when you test for gold, you you want to test for 10 and then 14 and then 18. Now I want to find a really kind of inconspicuous, I mean, there's really no inconspicuous spot. I suppose I could do it on this, but I don't know if the bars are sometimes not the same as the rest. It's not really scratching the right color for gold, but I may do this. It does have a thing on there that will, you can have a bail. Okay. So you can put it on a necklace. So you want to be really careful when you do this, because you don't want to damage the piece. I just had to do it at a certain angle, so I just had to stand up to do it. Okay, so, but no damage there. We're all good. Okay, that is such a beautiful pearl. All right, when you're using these acids, you want to be really, really, really careful that you don't get them on your skin because they can hurt you. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is testing for gold is where I tested for sterling silver on a live the other night just to show some people who were watching, if some people are new to that. But testing for gold is very different than testing for sterling silver. The reaction that we get is no reaction. That identifies a certain carat of gold. And so this first one that I'm going to use is a 10 carat. And I'm just going to drop a circle on those two. Okay. Now, it's interesting because even in that, I have two different reactions from these are the bail, and then that was the pin. Okay. But oh God, I just got it on my skin. Hold on, I got to get water on my finger. Hold on. That is an example of what you're not supposed to do. Because I'm sure when I have my Thursday sale, I'm going to show you guys on my hand that the skin literally will start to peel off. So anyways, what I was trying to say is the reactions were different there. I don't really need to test more, but if we did have a gold item here, then if it was 10 karat gold, those scratches underneath that wouldn't change at all. They wouldn't bubble. They wouldn't steam. They wouldn't 5 minutes down the road change at all. Now, I don't need to wait 5 minutes on this test to double check because I already have had that stuff disappear. So it's already confirming for me that it's not gold. But if those first marks were not changed at all, I would then do 14 karat and 18 karat. And usually I put all of them, but it changed so quickly, I really don't need to because I already know. And then if the 14 karat changed, but the 10 never changed, and maybe the 14 karat went away a little bit, then what that means is the karat gold is the last one that was not changed. So, so that means that it would be a 10 karat item. But anyways, so more information you probably wanted. Okay. I was on the fence. Okay. So you want me to go ahead and rerun, right? Again, these are prong set stones, the light's coming through the back. The construction is really good. It's a really nice brooch. But you can see all those holes there for all those other stones there. So let me go pull it up. Give me 1 second. I had a $21 start on it. And so I just moved it to stage, and I'm going to duplicate it. And then I'm going to start the auction. So now it's running there if you're interested. So Maggie's bidding on that. A really beautiful pearl there in the center, which if you know how to test for pearls, if you slightly rubbed it against another natural pearl, you'll get a little bit of grittiness. It's really lovely. Nice pickup there, Maggie, for sure. Okay. So that will head your way. Thank you so much. Yeah, don't be shy. I can happy to rerun anything you guys want. So I'm literally just going to write Maggie. Simple for me. All right. Now I do have a show on Thursday as well. So usually what I do is I hold on to everyone's items. And I just ship once a week. So if anyone buys tonight, if you came to the Thursday night show also, then you could save on progressive shipping, because if you purchase anything else, it wouldn't start over. It would be, it'd just be 50 cents for each additional item or whatever until. All right. So I was going to pull up these bigger bird, very vintagey brooches, super vintagey, at least the ones on the outside, really big. Now, this again is like made of something. This is so old. It's made of something really, really light. Like it's like, it looks like it's metal, but it might be just like a paint. I feel like it's a painted item. I don't know, or made of some sort of, it is so interesting and old. Cannot express to you. Then we've got this little guy here, enameled, really high quality, a heavy brooch. We've got some, little, beach birds there. Flamingo. They're not flamingos. What do you call the pink ones? I guess they're flamingos. No brand that I see. Okay. So there's that option. And then this is very vintagey, enameled. It's got all these beautiful colors, kind of pave set, all original stones. I haven't, usually when you see things like this, a lot of times it will have lost its, umph. And those are all the original little rhinestones in there. And you know what I want to do real quick? I just want to grab my toothbrush, not to brush my teeth, but I want to just do a really quick cleanup of the. It's really still amazing that they're the original. I love this brooch. It's just so vintagey. I mean, like everything about the vintage. I'm not pressing hard at all, and I'm not going to leave that wet for very long because I don't want it to loosen the rhinestones. So I immediately took it away and dried it off. I just didn't want. But by doing that, it really kind of brought it to life a little. Anyways, so there are bigger bird brooches options. And you see, let's see here. Oh, here they are. And I had a, you know what? I think I'm going to make it a $12 start. I think I saw one of these, a listing for it around 20. And so I'm going to start the auction now on our larger vintage bird brooch. I think my favorite is that one. He's just so like, I don't know. I know this one has a story to tell. Okay. Thank you for looking at that. Okay. Thanks for looking. Okay. Now I do have a whole bunch of absolutely stunning sterling brooches here, which, I'm happy to run possibly some buyer's choice, but I have to group them a little bit. I think they're going to have some different price points. I know this is a vintage Coro sterling silver brooch signed right here. Coro did make some sterling items there. And so it says Coro, and below it, it says sterling. So that's a pretty cool piece. I'd run that one by itself because I just think it probably value-wise would set itself apart there. But, here's some little filigree, really detailed little filigree brooches. And then it's like a little starburst. I mean, a lot of times in stores, because these things aren't marked, people will not mark them. Now, this has got a bit of a gold wash over it, but it's sterling. But look at, I I just love I don't know, the delicateness of it. It makes me think of lace, a little starburst there. Okay, so this one is a really pretty kind of, I guess, what do you call this? What is the name of that flower? It's in, like in Washington, D.C., all of these bloom. Ugh, why can't I remember the name of this flower? It's ugh, someone tell me. It's like why can't I remember the name of this flower? Dogwood. I think that's a dogwood flower. On the back, it does have marks for sterling, and it also has the brand name HSB, I believe, which I'm not quite sure what that stands for, but a beautiful little sterling silver brooch there. This has got marcasites, kind of, you know, in this little bow brooch, like a tied bow. And yeah, this may not be massively old. It's got marks for 925 right up there in the top. Okay, so we got that one. This is like that flow blue of a lot of dishes, that, people can buy dishes, antique world. But it's just got like someone's, it says, I guess it says, I'm not sure what it says. It says something. Sterling silver filigree floral scalloped edging on that. And so it's kind of like a cabochon of porcelain or whatever you call that flow blue stuff going on. So I'm just going to show you guys all these. If any of you want me to run them, then just say, hey, I'd be interested in you running or a starting price on something. Never ever feeling any pressure to buy, but I'm not going to necessarily do listings for all of them if they're no one's really interested in it. Again, we've got our marks for sterling up there. A little kind of a leaf wreath. Oh, that was very difficult to say. Try saying that 5 times. Everyone do it where you are. Everyone at their houses are going to be saying leaf wreath, leaf wreath, leaf wreath, leaf wreath. Oh my gosh, that's so difficult. This one's also sterling. I tested it just today. It's got some little gray cat's eye cabochons there, as well as some rhinestones that to me kind of looked like ruby. I was wondering, could those be ruby? But I thought my gem tester just died there. Okay, great. I thought I used it on my gem tester already, and it just comes up as glass. But this is a sterling brooch as well. But it's not marked, but it is sterling. Another reason why we always got to double check. Okay. Another beautiful sterling silver floral brooch here, kind of open work. And its marks for sterling are right here. And it also says Forstner right there in the center, I guess is the brand. Okay. So, was anybody interested in any of the sterling kind of brooches here in me, running any of those? They're not going to, this is not a buyer's choice because they all kind of have very different values. But I'm happy to run any of those if there's anyone who might be interested in any of them. So anyone out there awake still at 10:08? So I'm assuming that's a no, but I still wanted to show them because they're just so beautiful. So gorgeous. But they would kind of have some varied pricing. I love those. Okay. You guys still out there, right? Super quiet. Everyone's so quiet. You see, normally I'm playing games and that gets people all like interacting in the comments. Sometimes I do word scrambles. Sometimes I do little puzzles. But I thought I was going to be busy with all those buyer's choice. Okay, so holler at me, especially about those sterling ones. Um, Sometimes I like to tell people about the jewelry I have on in the story, the ones I happen to be wearing today. Yeah, I found this it's sterling and diamond actually, and it is actually a jade there. Very, very teeny chip diamonds in sterling. But I found it at a consignment store in oh, actually, it's not sterling. It's 14 karat, and I think I have actually tested it, which I might. I'm not going to do that for you. But isn't that pretty? I love it. And then this is a beautiful bracelet that I actually found in I think I had bought like a big lot from Shop Goodwill, and there was a lot of other bracelets in there that were nice, but obviously someone was not aware that this was marked. And so you always got to look out for those marks. But underneath in here, we see marks for gold as well as silver, because it's got a little part on here, just a little band, right? Just one band that's gold. So that's silver, but right there is what they're referring to as gold. And those are real pearls. Isn't that a neat bracelet? So yeah, it says uh, Italy 925, and then it says 14 karat Italy, and then it also says something else, but maybe it has to do with the brand. Anyways, I like them. And then it's just my wedding ring and my watch. Okay, let's keep going. Having fun here. All right, so how about we do some really big kind of statement, huge brooches here. Okay, so these are going to be two separate ones that I'm going to run. And so one of them, two of these are actually brands. And I realized it after the fact that they were brands. These are pretty big, very dimensional, looking at about 2.5 inches width. This one is almost 3. This one is about 2.5 again, and this, including that whole branch, is 3. So of course we've got some metal, kind of enameled, kind of like I don't know, it reminds me of like bubbles, like how bubbles give off that kind of luminescent look. So that brooch, I think that when I did a Google search on that, I thought it came up as a brand, but I think the one that came up was like a Coro, but it was slightly different. Okay. This one is actually Sarah Coventry. And I realized it after the fact that I already pulled it, but you can see it says Sarah Cove right there. Okay. So very dimensional. You can see, kind of looks like a big bowl. And then we've got this one. It's got different layers, and there's no brand on this. But comps wise, all of these comps wise were around $20 when for listing price. Comps for listing price, not selling price. When I looked them up, and that one didn't have a brand either. So I guess it was just the Sarah Cove was the only one with a brand. But this one's really cool. I think this one might be my favorite. Now, it definitely has lost some of it. It's vintage. It's old. So you see some of it has kind of come off on the green stem, that enameling. But this one's going to be a buyer's choice to these big statement, fun floral brooches. And let me pull up my thing. I have them as a $9 start, which is a great deal. Again, with seeing starting prices more than double that. And I'm going to start the auction now for anybody interested in groovy floral. Oh, you can sort of see them. It's better for me to hold them up to you. And there they are. Bam, 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 and bam. 3 seconds left. Maggie's in for 9. She might have saw a favorite. And we've got 4 seconds left. And this is buyer's choice. So you pick which one is your favorite. And we will get that going your direction. Thank you for your bid, Maggie. And I can't guess which one yours is. I'm not sure which one's your favorite. Maybe the Sarah Coventry because it's branded. I don't know. But I kind of think this one is groovy. I don't know, everyone. Can I see the blue and white one? Okay, so which one? Left or right? I'll show you both close up. So again, you're losing some of your enameling here on that. But the solidness of the brooch is really great and it's pretty clean. Okay, and this is the back. I mean, these are vintage things. They're old, so you're definitely going to have wear. That would normally be green, but some of the green came off. Just whatever. This one it's looking like that. Here's the back. Again, here's the Sarah Coventry one. Okay, so this one or the Sarah Coventry one? Okay, clarify. Yes, light blue or something like that. Or yes, Sarah Coventry. Left or right? Because right when you said not Sarah. Okay. So there you go. Yeah, very pretty. Okay, so I am going to duplicate that and I'm going to run it again for those 3 brooches right there. It's running now. And we got Maggie going. Thank you for that. Hope you guys are enjoying the brooch show. Okay. And thank you for looking at those. All right. All right, let me bring some bling, shall we? We got some real bling going on here. I don't know if my friend Jen, are you out there, Jen, watching? If she came back in or not. I have not made a listing for these yet. So I'm just going to show them to you. And if any of you are interested in me running, I can. I just have to create a listing real quick. But otherwise, I'll just show them to you and then we'll just go, ooh, ah, pretty. This one's really unique because you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of, oh, you weren't being indecisive. You can take all the time you want, Maggie. That's the fun about these live shows is you're interacting with me and, you know, you can ask all the questions you want. I am not in a rush. So don't ever stress. I just want to make sure I get the right thing that you want. So I needed to make sure that I put in what you wanted. That's all. But this reminds me of a horseshoe, you know, but look at all the dimension to this. It's definitely dimensional. And if you look really close up, those are cupcake settings in those rhinestones. And that just means that there's way more prongs that are going around those solitaires than typically where there might be 6 or something. This is the construction of the back. I was not able to find any comp or anything similar to this. It's very different. Okay. So this one, rather than put together with rhinestones that have foil back, this is more like a cluster of rhinestones. When a lot of times people see those, you know, like crystal necklaces that are using these beads that are like bicone beads. And this is an interesting construction on this. It's like topped with rhinestones on the tips of some of those like prong set rhinestones that are on the tips of some of those stones there. And you can see very pretty. That's what the back looks like. Okay. And it appears that some of those little whatever have fallen or have broken off, because there's not one. I'm surprised the bead hasn't come out. There's not one there or there, but it's very sparkly. Okay. This one's reticulating. Lovely. AB, prong set, marquee. And like we have some larger rhinestones there that kind of swirl around, kind of a more of a moving brooch. You see that? And it's got some little upside down pear-shaped ones at the dangle. There's no brand on this. And I could do a real quick Google Lens on this. I haven't actually looked it up to see if I could find any that were similar. Again, I won't run these unless you guys have interest in it. Right now, I'm just really showing them to you, but I'm happy to run them if you have interest in that. I'm going to hold this up to the light here. It's much more light for my... Okay, so again, it's doing a visual search. So it's looking at, it's really paying attention really to those AB stones, because it wasn't able to find an exact match there. There are some other reticulated ones here. There's a Juliana one, which let's look at the construction of a Juliana one. We all know what that's going to look like. Of course, that's pretty cool. It's got like those like beads dangling there at the bottom. Oh, it's on a long necklace. Do you see that? That's like a pendant. Oh my goodness, that is super unique. But there's the construction of the back. It has some rivets there. Interesting. Anyways, it's not the same as this one, but I just thought I'd check it out. So we got that going on. And then the other one here was, this is all prong set as well. Very dimensional. You can see it's kind of domed. This is what the back's looking like. No marks or anything like that. The gold tone looks great. So it's interesting how the gold tone, they both have clear rhinestones. They're not AB or anything, but the gold tone kind of makes the rhinestones look a little bit more citrine in color, even though they're both clear. So I'm assuming no one wants me to run any of those, but I just thought I'd show them to you. If anyone was interested, you let me know. But some pretty blingy, lovely brooches. Okay. I do too. 100%. You know what, Dawn? You can never have too much sparkle. That's my opinion. Okay, let me run these others. This was another buyer's choice. This is BSK. This is Judy Lee. And this one doesn't have a brand, but I'll start by showing you this one. This is like an iris, I guess. And those little like stamens there, they like swoop out on those little metal swirls. And they've got little, oh God, sorry, my phone. I was trying to move it and my hand dropped it. It has little rhinestones at the very end of each of those. Isn't that cool? So that's a pretty brooch. It's not sterling silver or anything. I actually did test it just in case. Since I had all those other floral brooches that had the wash on it, I thought I'd double check. But so you got that one. That's a pretty unique one. And you know what? I love how it's like matte in color, and then you get out to the edges and it's a shiny gold. I just think that's unique. Okay, so this is Judy Lee. You know, I've Google Lensed it. It also, it does say Judy Lee on it right here. It has some very ever so slight wear of the gold tone on just the edges, but it's consistent everywhere that it doesn't look bad or anything. Open work, filigree, all the things. And then this one is an enameled, I guess maybe these are lily pads. I don't know. I mean, look, it's like a starfish. So it must be oceany, some sort of ocean, because the shape of that isn't a flower. It's like the shape of a lily pad. I have no idea if that's what it is. Now, this has lost a lot of its enameling. Like all of that used to be yellow, like this. Welcome in the Nomad Attic, Tanya. Hello. I know that. That Nomad, I see you on YouTube. Possibly. No, I think I follow you on YouTube. Or at least Nomad Man. I don't know. Maybe a username similar to it. But welcome in. Welcome in, Bear. Berr, which is Amber. You see, this is where my cheat sheet helps somebody. If you come in, I'm doing a lot of buyer's choices tonight. So you can look down in the store, and I'm happy to rerun any of those auctions that I had that were buyer's choice or whatever. So again, the enameling up there is all still there, but this, it was like a brown and it lost a little there, and that was a yellow and it lost that. So it's old vintage, but it does have a mark for BSK right there. So that's those three brooches that I'm going to do a buyer's choice on. If anybody's interested, these are older brooches. They're going to show the wear. That's what an older brooch gives you. But I'm also not going to start it. Even though, they are actually branded, I'm not going to have a high starting thing. So this is going to be an $8 start for anybody interested in any of those vintage ones. So Maggie is in for 8. I'm not sure which one she's looking at, but again, this one's not branded, but I think it's still my favorite. I just love that one. You've got Judy Lee and BSK. This one isn't really not showing anywhere. This is slightly wear on the edge, but so Maggie can let me know which one of those she is interested in. The unbranded. I like that one too. It's a really unique brooch. Welcome in, Lucine. I think that might be. I had to get a bag big enough because I don't think it will fit. Oh, it probably will fit in that. I've got like a million different bag sizes that I always have off to the side during sales. But I love that. It's a nice brooch, Maggie. You're going to love it. And again, these are like, now I didn't move them, the little swirlies from where they are. I'm sure you could probably shift them and move them differently, but I was afraid to move them because I didn't want it to crack off. So I just didn't touch it. I left it just as it was. But I love it. You're going to love it too. Maybe that's a iris. I don't know. What flower is that? Does anyone know? I think I can fit this in here. Let's see here. I might not. I might have to get my big bag. I'm not quite sure what it's caught on. Oh, I got it in there. Never mind. I just need to make sure I don't set anything heavy on top of it because we don't need to mush those. I might put this in its own separate box. I'm actually going to put it separately now because I don't want anything to mush that. Okay, so I'm going to, since these show more wear, I'm actually going to duplicate this and then I'm going to edit it and I'm going to actually make it a $7 start. Just because of the 3 brooches, I think that first one to me was the nicest. But yeah, these are branded, but do show wear. So I'm starting the auction now if anyone's interested. Judy Lee and then BSK for that. Oh, of course. I very, 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 very much care about that. Anyone who has purchased with me knows that I package things very carefully. Hopefully things arrive safely. But I just don't. If you buy a brooch and you fall in love with it on the screen, I don't want it to like something happen to it between now and when it gets to you. Okay. Again, there's some things I'm happy to rerun, so holler at me if you would like to. Here's some cremants. Now, mind you, the brooches I brought tonight were a fraction of the brooches I own. I own a ton. I definitely have a lot of branded brooches like, Monet and Trifari, but usually I bring those when I have like a specific night of a specific kind of jewelry. But these happen to be in the box for that I was looking in. I could do a whole nother brooch night and bring completely different stuff. But anyways, cremants, beautiful cremants, signed brooches. I love this one. Do you know why I love this one? Because it is timeless. Like it's the kind of thing that you could wear New Year's Eve, Christmas, like any occasion. Like it matches everything. It's in excellent condition. And if you look really closely, you're not going to be able to see it because I can't zoom in enough. But cremants is usually written right there. I can feel it and I can see it under my loop, but it is written right there on the bar. And the color of all the rhinestones here, the baguettes, they're all very clear. They're not darkened or yucky, or they're looking great. So I think that's probably my favorite. This cremants brooch, it's got some authentic pearls in there. Again, its mark for cremants is on the bar, and kind of little interlocking circle, natural little, probably, freshwater pearl there. Probably not like an Akoya or anything like that. And then this is a much smaller cremants one. And I don't know, this one might be gold filled. Let me look at it closely. I don't see marks for gold filled. I do see where it says cremants. But yeah, that's just a little guy. All right, so let me pull up. Definitely this one's my favorite for sure. But it was a $15 start, mostly because of that one. I think that one's probably the most valuable one. If someone ends up buying that, I will lower the starting price for the others. But the auction's running now for any of those cremants brooches that people might be interested in. We got 4 seconds left. And thanks so much for looking. Okie dokie. Okay, we're kind of getting down to the wire here. I do have another bag of sterling brooches to show you that are all like Mexico, made in Mexico. Like not all of them are from Mexico, but I do have some additional ones that I'll show you. Again, I can run any of them, but I don't have listings on them yet. But you can just let me know. All right, let's do this one real quick. I think I have some West Germany, Austria possibly, beautiful brooches here. Isn't that one lovely? Prong set, we got some filigree, but open, completely open backs, so the light can completely shine through on that one. I think this one's really lovely. I could not find a brand. I did find the actual comps for it, but anyway, so there's that. We got this one here, enameled, and yeah, I'm trying to look under my loop. Those rhinestones are not prong set, and those are faux pearls there. But you can see that there is, if you look close up, some enamel loss. I don't think it makes it look bad. It's just part of what comes with a vintage brooch. And this one might actually have a brand on it. It might be Austria. Hold on. Trying to look under my loop. Yes, made in Austria. Hey, Jen, did you ever come back? I was going to give you a shout out. Made in Austria. And then this one might be Austria as well. I love kind of the peacock blue mixture of colors. It just makes me, I realize it isn't, they're all separate. Like that's blue, that's teal. This is an AB coded one, those three. But all of them together. Oh, there she is. Yay. Because I just wanted to be able to, I was trying to give you a shout out earlier and I think you disappeared. You were multitasking and I couldn't uh, reach you, but you were probably busy getting ready for your for your show tomorrow. But yeah, Jen's my friend. Yeah, isn't that pretty? Jen's my friend that I'm friends with on YouTube, and she does live shows on YouTube uh, on Sundays. I think at 3 p.m. Eastern time, and then on her Tuesday shows, I honestly don't know what time you start. You'll have to say it in the chat, Jen. I know you can't see them because you're watching from YouTube, but they can see you. But yeah, she just got 1,000 followers. Woo! I know you guys are helping me get followers. I need more followers. Go to my YouTube page. But she just got there, so I'm excited for her. Go check her out. She is a GIA certified, she's a gemologist and she's very, very knowledgeable, especially about things like pearls and like different kinds of coral and natural stones, which I'm pretty good with the natural stones, but I'm not as good with the other. So anyways, so we're going to run these as a buyer's choice. And those are beautiful. Definitely more valuable. When I look at comps, especially with them being Austria kind of brooches, I think I found comps for this that were in 35-ish, whatever. But I have a $21 start on those, and I'm starting the auction now. So again, some enamel loss on that kind of lilac-y one. I think this is probably my favorite one, and probably the best deal because I think that was the better comp, but those are lovely. And so, Jen, what time does your show start on Tuesdays? You have to remind me. I can't remember. Thanks for looking at that, guys. Okay, so we only have a few more things left to run, so be sure that if you pop in that you go in and check out the store and see if there's anything you want me to rerun. All right. I love these brooches. These are all really high quality, lovely brooches that, I can find two of them when I hunt, like I do a Google Lens search. I definitely can find this. This one has a brand on it that says Freirich, Freirich. I know it's probably French. But I just think this one's so pretty. It's really unusual. The square. Oh, she wrote it up above. Oh, let's see. Where'd you write it? I don't see it, Jen. The only thing I have was you. There were 2 comments when you came in and said, "Hey, Curry, you're multitasking." And then you said Curry. And then you just now said, "I'm here." Anyways, you can type it in there if you want. But anyways, I think that's super unique. This one, that although that looks like a real pearl, it actually looks very close to the brooch, the actual pearl in this one, the luminescence of it. But this one's real. This one's not, but it looks real. The construction of this brooch is impeccable. It is so lovely. Now, all of the rhinestones in there, they are not prong set. They're just glued in, but it's heavier. It's constructed well. And at one point, I thought I found a comp for this, but I just can't pull it up anymore. Like, I just can't. But these are really lovely brooches that they're not rhinestone brooches. They're not from West Germany. They don't, but they're to me, they're lovely, and again, this one's got like little marcasites all over it. And So I think they're lovely. So I wasn't in the live chat. I'm okay. But tell me what time you start on Tuesdays so I can remember. So yeah, you weren't in the live chat. I get it. You were gone for a while. I know on Sundays you're 3 Eastern time. I just can't remember the others. Welcome in Southern Shelley's Resales. And it looks like Lori just popped in again. Just finishing up the sale here. I did a whole bunch of buyer's choice of brooches. So if you pop in and you see some of those, there's some incredible deals. So definitely go and look in the store. Oh, this needs to be edited. That is not the right one. I thought I had taken a picture of the correct one, but we'll get these in there. Okay. So these are going to be a $15 start. High quality, beautiful brooches for sure. $2 p.m. Central on Sundays and then 1 p.m. Central on Tuesdays. Cool. I couldn't remember. Thank you for that, Jen. All right. So it's a $15 start. Again, I really like that square one. It's just super unique. This one's really heavy. These are they're different brooches. They're not the typical. They're just unique to me. I like them. But no, natural stone or pearls or anything like that. Oops. Okay. Thank you for looking at those. Are you still multitasking? Everyone out there is doing multiple things. Okay. So I'm going to pull out. Actually, I'll do this last. I have all these, and I don't have these listed, and I'm not going to make a listing for them unless I have anyone interested in me running any sterling brooches, but I will show them all to you, and you can certainly just send a message and say, hey, will you run that? And I'll have to figure out a cost for you. But okay, so these are lovely brooches. More of these lovely, a lot of circular brooches here. These 2 brooches have real pearls in them. So if you rub them together, actually, this one too. I think all 3 of those. Yes. Real pearls. This one also says Spain on the back. So that's like a Damascene style floral brooch, which is actually a little bit different with real pearls in there. Just filigree swirl. None of these are gold filled. That's why I grouped them together. Lovely filigree. It's got some cupcake settings for those amber colored glass. And then this one, those are just glass, but they are prong set. Beautiful amethyst colored glass. Again, not gold filled or anything, just gold tone. But I think those are lovely. I'm sure, I don't know, probably this one's worth the most because it's Damascene and it's labeled with Spain, but no labels on the rest of them. So, yeah, the $12 start on the Damascene, I actually did not realize I put it in there. So that's going to be a really good deal because we all know that that's got a higher value there. So I'm going to start the auction now and I'm going to bring them up here to you. And we've got 15 seconds left. A buyer's choice for any of those. Gold tone lovelies. Appreciate everyone looking at all the brooches tonight. Thank you for looking. Okay. And so real quick, I had one more brooch I wanted to show you individually before I show you these sterling brooches. So Just shifting this back in the box that I had them in. I ran a lot of brooches, so definitely check them out. Okay, so real quick, I found this in an antique store, and it was, really, really low priced. And when I did a Google Lens on it, it's not sterling or anything. It does have a mark on it that says uh, uh, true Truscana. I can't. Etrusciana, Etrusceana, Etrusciana. I don't know. I can't pronounce it. But look at the details in this. It's embossed with all of these incredible floral details in that like double ring. Now I am able to, I do find it when I take a picture of it, I am able to find something similar. So let me see what it said. Isn't that different? It's just I don't know. And it kind of looks like pewter to me. Has the feel of pewter. I don't know that it is. But you can see some listings there, 59, 90. Well, at least there's those three and some others similar to it. Vintage rice winer in Tresciana runway something. Now that's weird. This isn't exactly the same because it must have like milk glass in those spaces, because on mine it's all of these knobby things like the whole way. So mine looks like this one. I just think it's a really cool brooch. Large rice winer in Tresque runway Victorian revival brooch. That real quick. That one had a $59 just asking price. I will run it for I'll run it for 32. And if any takers on that. And I'm going to butcher the spelling of it. I don't know what winer in Tresque is, but I'll type it. ETRUS CEACEANA. Floral embossed. Okay. All right, so let me bring that to stage. I don't know if there's any takers on that, but I'm running it now. It's just definitely different, isn't it? I just love the dimension about it. It's so cool. I agree, Don. I agree. There's something on my thumb. Gorge. Love it. It's just different. Okay. So if you guys want to look at some really lovely, I have a few Mexican, and some more than just Mexico jewelry, but again, I'm just going to show them to you. But if anyone has any interest, then just holler at me. And we'll just look at these and we'll call it a night. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I always love hanging out. And, you know, if after the sale's over, if you have any questions about any of this, or again, I am going to hold shipping for all of this. So K&S Treasures, I don't know if you're still in here. You want to go double check your card on that. But Maggie and who else was in here? I don't know why I put that there. And Lori. Yeah, so I'm going to hold on to it so that you guys can benefit from progressive shipping. Okay, so most of you probably know, but abalone, you know, which is a type of shell that's used in a lot of jewelry, they're not allowed to harvest it anymore because I guess it was maybe it had something to do with an environmental something. You know, the person who would have the answer to the question, Jen could probably explain exactly why abalone is no longer allowed to be used in jewelry, or like they can't harvest it anymore. But you're going to find that anything abalone is going to go up in value because, you know, along with some corals, because, you know, it's just, you know, there are going to be less of them around. So anyways, those are marcasites that you see there, and a really lovely butterfly brooch. It does have marks on the back that say, it just says 925. So this one is not a Mexico brooch, but still lovely. And he is about 1.25 inches tall. Okay. So I don't know if Jen's still in here, but she may. Here's another abalone one. Now these are tarnished. I have not touched it. I've left it. Some people like the tarnishing. But here's interesting. Look at this. Look at the little, this is just sterling silver made in Mexico. I mean, you got your little guy in the sombrero with his cactus in the background. Well, here, this one's very similar. This is a guy wrapped in a blanket with a cactus in the background. He's got his sombrero on. It's harder to see that one. Let me turn my ring light away. That one, you can see a little better, but different cactuses. But the marks on the back, it does have a place there for a bail. This seems much, much older, but it says sterling, and then it says something like maybe Mexico, Taxco, but it's sort of been, you know, it's not like the perfect thing. I mean, there's no question that it's sterling. I've tested it and all that. Now that looks like a chip out of the abalone, but it's not. It's all there. So isn't that one a lovely one? Jen says it hurts. Oh, she's given us the description for why we are no longer allowed to harvest abalone in jewelry anymore. And she says it hurts the seafloor environment and the growth of naturally occurring corals. And so there have been harsh moratoriums put into place against harvesting. I'm going to have to look up the definition of moratoriums. I can only assume moratoriums means like, you know, like limits or constraints or rules or whatever. But yeah, I hear you. Wow. So you got to take care of our environment, right? Again, we got our little dude here sitting out in the, you know, desert. And this is marked Silver Mexico Taxco is what it says right down there. Okay. Banning or constraints. That's right. Okay. That's what I assumed. Okay. We've got a really little, I guess it's a heart kind of made kind of like out of like little leaves. This is not a Mexico little pin, but it is sterling. Okay. So that's what the back looks like. Kind of some filigree details. And it says sterling, and it says something else, but I can't read it. but the marks are up here on the edge right there. Okay, so there's that. Isn't this one beautiful? So pretty. This is inlaid, like the houndstooth little, is that the correct term there? Houndstooth bezel set. I'm pretty sure that's the correct term. I've been using it the whole thing. So, but that is definitely malachite is the green part, and then a little teeny bit of turquoise, and that this is banded, the orange part. So normally I would say that often is coral, but in this case it might be some sort of agate or maybe carnelian, but it's pretty orange. I don't know. But I love the texture of that little cactus brooch. And again, the back says, it says sterling, but part of the letters are rubbed off. But there's no question that it's sterling. So we got that. We got a little lizard friend here. I should go grab my bearded dragon and let you guys see him. Some of you saw him once in a live I did where I remember it was a spring live where we were doing a train, and it was all about bugs. Sawtooth bezel. There you go. And so I brought Spike as my helper because, oh, really? Are you serious? Your daughter used to own 2 of the bearded dragons. Well, I'll have to tell you the story. I'll finish showing him, but I'll have to tell you the story of how I ended up with a bearded dragon. It's called having teenage kids that leave for college, and then they leave mom with the animal. But I kind of fell in love with Spike. We saved him because he was a class pet at school, in the middle school at the time. And when COVID hit, all the class pets needed to find homes. And so, we took him in, and he stayed with us ever since. Now, bearded dragons are not cheap. Like you have to have like a specialized vet for bearded dragons, a different kind of vet. And he was not thriving while at school because, class pet, they're not giving him live bugs. They're not giving him baths to help nourish his skin and hydrate him. He wasn't getting fresh greens. He was getting like dried up crap from, the pet store. It was terrible. And so when he came to us, he was very malnourished. Not in great condition. And we had to do a whole bunch of treatment for him to try to get him back to kind of thriving because he didn't know how to eat greens. And so your bearded dragon is really big. Well, I'm going to go in a second. I'm going to go grab him, and I'm going to show you. I have a full age bearded dragon, but he is teeny because he was just stunted at growth because he just didn't get all his needs met. He gets his needs met now, but anyways, his name's Spike. I know, a shocking name for a bearded dragon. But anyways, thanks for sharing with me about that unique around the corner. I love that. Okay. Anyways, this little lizard guy is marked Mexico. And what else? 925. And I just can't read the other word. Might say Taxco. I don't know. But he also has a bail there, so he could be a necklace as well. But he's pretty groovy. He's not a bearded dragon. He's just a regular dragon. I'm sorry, a regular lizard there. But he's pretty cool. Let me just show you these other 2 brooches, and I'll go grab him real quick before we say goodnight for the night. I just looked this up today. Actually, I was talking to my friend Jen on the phone, and we were talking about this awesome Mexican jewelry, and I was showing her these cute little bear pins that they are marked on the back with sterling, but the brand isn't on it. But when you look it up, it definitely is a specific pretty, I don't know, expensive designer of, obviously, Southwestern, I don't know, jewelry, but, or maybe Southwestern or Native American, whatever. How, I don't know. People can use different words to describe, but cool bear, sterling, him. And then the last one here, I have a Marcasite sterling. That's the back. And I tested that and it didn't come up as onyx. So it must be, it at least is glass at a minimum, but it might be some other type like tourmaline or something. But I love the different layers of this one because, it's like the stone is inside and then all of this is above it. So it gives it some dimension. When I ran some Google Lens searches on this, it's a very nice brooch. Let me just say, super nice. So again, so you have one so how big is the one that got really big? Like how many inches would you say he is? I'm going to put these away so Spike doesn't try to eat them. I mean, including the tail and all. I mean, like I think Spike, including his tail, he might be 18 inches, but you're going to see he's teeny. Let me go grab him just so he can say goodnight. He can come do his showing. She doesn't have him anymore. The girl died and she gave the male away. Oh, well, let me get Spike and I'll finish the story. But we're done for the night with all the jewelry. Now we're just going to talk. Thanks for looking. Or unless someone wants me to rerun something, I'll be right back. Open your other eye. What's up, Spike? Oh my goodness, I woke him up. I woke him up, so he's like dead asleep. Are you gonna wake up to come be on here? Let me get a little cloth or something for you, my little buddy friend. We love our Spike because he's so cute. So again, when my boys left for college, I had to like find, I was the one who kept caring for Spike. Spike, you gonna wake up, buddy? So, but he's pretty for a bearded dragon. Look how small he is. Here he is. Here's his whole body. He's like, please let me sleep. He's got one eye open. But he came on a sale. I don't know, a year or so ago. I was doing a bug sale, so I came on and let him be my little buddy. Let me do this different. You can see. But that's Spike. And literally the main part of his body, like from head to like, I don't know, about there on his tail, that's like a foot. That's how small he is. But he's full grown, but he just is, he's little. He's my little buddy. So I don't know if you think he's big. Well, it's because he's a full grown, But I've seen people who have, I don't give him grasshoppers. I give him, he gets super worms about 3 times a week. He gobbles those babies up. I give him like 4. And then I also give him fresh greens every day. So, kale and, whatever. And lots of other things. I can, cut up a little bit of a strawberry, or I cut up, like sweet peppers and things like that. Hers was longer. Oh, I'm sure it is. I assure you, he is very small for a bearded dragon. He's like the size of, a teenager bearded dragon or something. You know what I mean? And, but here's my story about Spike. I I didn't ever want to be an owner of a friggin' reptile. She had him in a fish tank and had to get a really big tank because he got so big. Right. Yeah. Some of them can get to be huge. And we like over the time we've had him, and he's just finishing shedding. He's shedding here. Like they shed their skin. They go through phases. But he because I did so much care for him, and of course I agreed to let us save this bearded dragon from school. Nowhere in my mind was I ever going to have a snake or the things we'll do for our kids when they're growing up. But all in all, I thought I'd like be scared of him, but he's the most chill, cool little dude, and he's so friendly. He's never bit. So I give him baths too, because that helps hydrate him and keep him clean and things like that a couple times a week. And then I also, because he was wasn't thriving like he needed, he also gets this thing in a syringe, it's like dried food. It's called critical care for reptiles, that gives him all these extra nutrients and things like that because he just wasn't thriving when he was younger. So he also gets some extra help. He kind of gets like the bearded dragon version of Pediasure, So anyways, Izzy was her name. Oh, I like that name for a bearded dragon. I have pictures of all the grandkids playing with him. Yes. And do the animals get along with, like, at first when we got him, I think he was freaked out we don't have dogs anymore. They've since passed. But, I think the dogs being fast moving used to freak him out. But now, my dogs have passed. But by the end, Spike could go walk right up to them and lay right next to them. And my cat, who just walked in the room here, for the longest time, the cat was scared of Spike because Spike, I'd put him on the ground and he'd go and go run up to my cat and freak my cat out. So anyways, Spike's saying goodnight and I'm saying goodnight, and I appreciate you guys coming to hang out. I'm going to have another sale on Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time again. And I don't remember what theme I put on that show. I might have said, I can't remember if I have a jewelry jar from an antique store that I was going to do at some point. Let's see if I was going to do that on Thursday or not. Hold on. The theme for Thursday. Oh, yes. I wrote antique store jewelry jar with pop-up sales. So that's what's going to be. I won't have any listings ahead of time because I don't know what's in the jar. But then during it, we open the jar together, and then I'll kind of run things as we go if anyone's interested in the stuff that's in there. So all that being said, I think we're signing off. I appreciate you guys coming to hang out. You guys have a good week. Be sure to support all your awesome sellers, other sellers that are in the chat. Go follow them. Are you a seller too as well? Unique around the corner. What's your first name? Because I've been chatting with you, but I keep calling you unique around the corner instead of, you don't have to give me your name, but if you're if you're comfortable with it. Noreen. Okay. I may have written that down before. That kind of sounds familiar. Actually, I think you've been in my lives before. Yes. Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, good night. My name's Curry. And I'm with Cherish Relics Boutique. And here's my business. I do eBay sales as well. And I do live sales here on District. And I have a YouTube channel, also called Cherish Relics Boutique, with hundreds. Lori will tell you, she's there. Hundreds of videos to watch, both in my live section and in my just posted videos. So that's all I got for you. And yeah, y'all have a great night, and thanks for coming. Oh, Quasimodo. That's an awesome name for a bearded dragon. I'm sure you can understand why we named him Spike. Get it? Okay. Curry signing off. Later, guys. Take care. Thanks so much, Don. I'm so happy you came. You're going to be seeing me in Lilyworks this week, and then come and start hanging out again. Now, I'm not going to necessarily do sales out of there, but I will come and be hanging out with you guys. So I'm excited. Bye, guys. And Spike's ready to go too. He's ready to walk away. Ready to hasta la vista, baby. Bye. Thanks.